sign. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that we're going to get through problem-free. In regards to tonight, I don't think there's been loads that's been announced. We know that we're going to be getting Dijak taking on Eddy Thorpe. So we know that that's coming. We know that we're starting the Breakout tournament as well. So we know that that's coming. We also know that we're getting the fallout from Deadline. So we know that that's coming as well. Nikita Lyons has made her presence felt as well on social media. So she should be around tonight. After the brawl at Deadline, Metaphor are going to battle Briggs, Jensen, and Fallon Henley. So we've got that happening. Dijak against Eddy Thorpe as well. And as we said, the fallout from Deadline. Julia is trending at the moment. I'll have to see what's going on. The WWE in Julia's bio is a translation error. And it doesn't mean anything, but it is a interesting error, right? She's got a WWE in Julia's bio, and that seems to have got people excited. She is a Stardom superstar that is on WWE's radar. So looks like she's trending because she's got WWE in her bio, but they're saying that it's just a translation error, that's all. So that's why she's trending. And Liv Morgan's trending, probably because she was at that film premiere last night, is my guess. So yeah, lots of pictures of her with MJF. Right, hello, I hope everyone's well. Let me see if I can... do I need to fix the chat? Is the chat a bit broken? I don't even know if we've got a chat at the moment. Let's have a look and see if that's going to spring into life. Daze will be here in 7 minutes 45. I am here now. Ross said, Tommy did me dirty. Ren Gill is who you are after on Spotify, not some K-pop mob, says Ross. Ross, shout out to you, buds. Ross, massively into his K-pop groups. I think he likes Blackpink, he likes BTS, he likes Ren. So that's all Ross is listening to at the moment. That's what Tommy tells me. I don't know if it's true or not, buds. But listen, I'm just don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. It's a shame, actually. Do you know what? It's a shame we didn't stay on that music conversation longer. We were just doing the Wrestling Escape Pods, and we were talking about the fact that everyone's had their unwrapped, their recap kind of things on Spotify and YouTube Music. And I was looking at what was on mine, and we played a track from my most listened to artist, and we did it for Tommy as well. But I totally would have done that for, you guys in the chat. But, man, I gotta tell you, there is nothing more frustrating than lag. There is nothing more distracting than lag. If ever I can see this red light flickering in the corner, it just consumes my whole focus. So it's really so difficult to concentrate when you've got a red light flashing away at you. Oh man, there is nothing that winds me up more. There is nothing more annoying, frustrating, distracting than battling away with that. So I've dropped the quality of the stream. We're 720p in tonight. That's fine. You're gonna have to learn to love it. We're 720p in, as it seems like there's just a little bit of internet wobbles in the area, but hopefully it will stay strong as we work our way towards this week's NXT. Daze, I just got a message saying that Dat Mello is in NXT for the US tournament. He is, yes. Shawn Michaels announced it the other day. Carmelo will be on SmackDown in the tournament on Friday. I think the news is out there now. Certainly, if you're getting messages on your phone, they're not making any secret of it. And I'd imagine they'll probably announce it tonight as well. But it's not a rumor or a spoiler. Shawn Michaels has come out on social media and said it in a clip, and it's been picked up by various news channels, so it's out there now. Hassan said, do you like the new GTA 6 game that's coming up? I mean, I've only seen the trailer, obviously. It looks great. I'm not a big GTA player, It's a game that I've always wanted to get into and complete, but it's just so I'm just not a very good gamer. I never seem to be able to find like 2, 3, 4 hours chunks of time like that to actually dedicate to a game. I can't find that time to dedicate to a film. I mean, I have to like just have podcasts on in the background, or I could listen to music. And actually, I've just said my New Year's resolution for next year is that I want to listen to more music. My numbers came through and they're rubbish. I listened to 1,000 minutes of music in the year. 100 different artists. I mean, I did not go out of my way to spend any time trying to set any numbers or trying to achieve anything. So that's, you know, that's just me listening to the odd track, or listening as I'm like, you know, going to London for wrestling shop or whatever. So it's just numbers that have come from that, basically. But I'm going to make an effort next year to listen to a bit more, and maybe discover some new artists that I might enjoy, or reconnect with some of those artists that I don't listen to anymore. I mean, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of artists that I've listened to over the years. And a good chunk of them are like rubbish. But, you know, I've got a healthy number of artists that I really like. So the fact I've only listened to 100 of them, and some of them were new, is not good, to be honest. That's not a good place to be if you're a music lover. So yeah, definitely going to put a bit of a focus on that. So I just don't know that I will find time to play a GTA 6. In fact, let me correct that. I won't find time to play GTA 6. So currently I have no plans on buying that game. I don't even have a PS5. I have a PS4, which I've rarely ever played, to be honest. I even bought a game for it. Was it last year or the year before? Which is still in its cellophane wrapping. Watch Dogs. Still haven't even got it out of its cellophane wrapping. And I don't know if it'll ever get out of its cellophane wrapping, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm just rubbish at that sort of stuff. But, listen, that's the life of a dedicated YouTuber, of a dedicated online streamer. You have to like, you know, give up your time for other pursuits. So yeah, I'm going to try and listen to some more music instead. James said Jade Cargill's mum passed away after a severe illness. That's why she hasn't been on the shows, says James. James, shout out to you. Edward said, how are you? When is the next WEP that you send videos in? So the next WEP for videos is next week. I don't know what you managed to catch. This week's episode wasn't brilliant, in my opinion, because of the disruptions. It really does affect things when you can't just get into a conversation. I think we're quite good on the Wrestling Escape Pod when we're flowing and we're in a conversation. When that conversation is constantly being interrupted because of lag and stuff like that, it means you're stopping and starting, and you kind of, it really messes it up, man. So yeah, frustrating. But we did announce at the end of this week's episode that we want your videos for next week. If you don't watch the Wrestling Escape Pod, that is fine, right? But next week would be a good one to check out, because we want your video clips and we will play them on the podcast and we will react to them and talk about them. It's simple. Film yourself telling us what you want for Christmas. Simple. And it doesn't have to be wrestling related. It can be anything. And if you can show the item as well. So even if you're talking and you can somehow, I don't know, if you've got a tablet and you can show the item on a tablet, or if you've got any tiny degree of editing knowledge, you can always insert a picture like in the video if you've got any kind of editing ability. But even if like you just hold up a tablet and it's got the picture of the item on there or something, it'll just add to it if we can actually see the item that you're referring to. Yeah, that would be really interesting. I'd love to know what people are asking for Christmas. I always find that interesting. I always find that a real insight, because, you know, obviously you get like items that are new and trending, like Are people after air fryers? Are people after, I don't know, water flossers? I see them advertised all the time. Those kind of water. Have you seen them? Like jets of water get spurted out, and apparently it cleans 99% of plaque off your teeth. And it's apparently better for you than actual floss. So it's a water flosser. And they're quite cheap as well. You can get them for like 30, 40 quid. Good gift. Good gift. So that's something that I've never seen before, but I see it advertised all the time now. So this might be the year of the water flosser. So yeah, it's interesting to me. And of course, if people are after wrestling figures or CM Punk t-shirt or, you know, any kind of merch like that, again, interesting. Always want to know what people are asking for. I suppose it's because for me, I sit here and I just sort of stream on my own and we chat away and I chat with you guys. So for me, there's not really like, my mum and dad don't want anything. They're not bothered. Like, there's nothing they need. My brother is really hard to buy for because he's very similar. He doesn't really have any hobbies or anything. There's not really anything that he's after. So for me, there's no one really in my life that's like actively after anything, that really wants something. So it's kind of interesting for me to see what people out there really want to get. So put it in a video, drop it over, send it to wrestlingdaze@gmail.com, and we will play those on our Christmas episodes next Tuesday, which I'm really looking forward to. Should be a lot of fun. Jobson said, I've got about 15 games still in their cellophane wrapping. Jeez. Dawn Knight said, it's about finding games that won't eat into your whole life. Yeah, it's a good point. I am a casual, very casual gamer. So for me, I need those games that you just pick up and play. I've got a Steam Deck, right? I got a Steam Deck ages ago when they first came out. I got sucked. So I've told you I get sucked into the hype. And my thought process was that I work a lot, right? So once I've finished editing and doing my streaming, like, why not get a Steam Deck and then, like, I could play a game and I could go upstairs to bed half an hour before I go to sleep, play a little game, blah, 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 blah. I never use it. I never play it. I never use it. But to be honest, I could see me playing this at Christmas. Like, if I have a day, if I do get any sort of time this Christmas, then the Steam Deck's quite high on the agenda for me to really give some time to. I could see me playing that whilst listening to some music. The only problem is, I don't think any music I listen to before the 1st of January is going to count towards my numbers for next year. And I need to get my numbers up, man. So maybe I'll see if I can find a day off in January or something so that I can play the Steam Deck, play some of those old school easy games, things that are like pick up and play, super quick things, and get my numbers up. That's my goal. That's going to be my I'm going to do that for one day next year. Jennifer, shout out to you, said, it took me 5 minutes of having your stream on before my little Rosie, my beagle, I mean, all of this is filthy, to come jumping on my lap, and he's currently sitting watching you and me. Let's go. I told you I'm massive in the dog community. They absolutely love me. I think it's intrigue, to be honest. Intrigue. I think they look at me and they're like, what the hell's going on there? What the hell is that? I don't know what it is, but I'm absolutely mesmerized by it. So I am very big in the canine world. So Jennifer, shout out to your Rosie. Shout out to your beagle. Yeah, we all know it's code. And sit back and relax. Kian said, Daze, I hope you are well, having a good stream. How has your day been? My Spotify Wrapped is all Selena Gomez songs. If I didn't say anything during the stream, it goes, I'm really knackered. I don't really know much Selena Gomez, but that's interesting. That's interesting that yours is largely Selena Gomez. Yeah, there's some really random ones out there. I mean, Tommy, who I always see as being quite a wacky, extrovert, out there kind of a guy. His most listened to artist is Girls Aloud. It doesn't make any sense. I can't even begin to fathom how this has happened. But his most listened of all the artists in the world you know, he's someone that plays guitar. He's got a good musical knowledge. He loves the class. He loves the Beatles. He's listening to the Ronettes. He's listening to artists his girls allowed. It's mental. It's mental. It's a real insight. It's a real insight into people if you get their details of what they're listening to. Thankfully, my most listened to artist is Naya Archives, and she's cool AF, which means this guy is cool AF as well. That's how it works. We read this one. Could Seth and Becky re-sign with WWE or become free agents? Said Not JPEG. Well, I expect them to re-sign. I don't think there's too much danger of them not re-signing. I just think that a lot of contracts are coming up at this time because of the fact of AEW. When AEW started in 2019, a lot of contracts were signed to 5-year deals and 4-year deals. So that means that contracts have been coming up. And we know that Drew's is coming up as well. If there's a whole raft of them that are coming up. So, yeah, Seth and some may have been re-signed in like recent times. But it seems like Seth and Becky, they've not managed to get re-signed yet. But at this point, I don't see it as much of a story. If it was a case that they're, you know, a month away or something like this, then I'd be like, oh, they're leaving this late. But yeah, I don't know when in 2024, but at this point, I don't see it as much of a story. But just one that I think that has done the rounds on social media that people are just at this stage aware of. But I expect him to re-sign. Jobson said, I just got the new Avatar game. It's sick. Dork Knight said, does anyone remember the Half-Life games? They were fantastic. I do, yeah, I do. Edward said, well, I know I didn't play them. I played a little bit of Half-Life 2 because it was in something called the Orange Box. And I remember everyone raving about the Orange Box. The Orange Box, you got to get the Orange Box. You got to get the Orange Box. And I was like, what the hell's the Orange Box? But the Orange Box was Half-Life 2, which is regarded as one of the best games ever made, and Portal, the first Portal. And that is regarded as an absolute classic. People say the second Portal is better, but I've never played it. But I got a taste for the first Portal. It was pretty good. And then there was something else in there, like Team Fortress, which I never actually played. Which I don't even know what that was, to be honest. It was another game called Team Fortress, but I don't know what that was. I think it's from the same makers. And it was probably like a multiplayer thing, so I don't know. But yeah, the reviews for this Orange Box thing, everyone was raving about it, but it was this collection of like really good games, and Half-Life 2 was one of them. And that's the only one I ever played. I know they did like obviously Half-Life and Half-Life 3. I think they've done. They done a Half-Life 4, but yeah, they're meant to be absolutely amazing. They sound like euphemisms, said Jim. There's a lot of things that are sounding like euphemisms tonight, yes. James said, I've just tweeted you Brandon Thurston's tweet about the Seth Punk promo numbers. Is this the 1.4? 1.47, yeah. So the in-ring promo was the most watched. It did 188. Oh, the show averaged 147. It had the advantage of being the only quarter hour with no ad breaks, but it had stronger quarter-to-quarter growth than any Raw quarter hour since early 2022, which includes many ad-free quarters in non-ad-free shows. So they're saying that it was... good. I mean, call me old-fashioned. I am struggling with a show doing 1.47 to be classed as any kind of good number. But their segment doing 1.88 is more encouraging. And it is Christmas. It is December. We know where the ratings are at this time of year. But the point I've made before is we've had Christmases before. This isn't the first ever Christmas. We have also had football seasons before. This isn't the first ever football season. And it is just a concern. I mean, I know it is the decline of TV. I am aware of that. I've got some raw ratings actually, but I don't know, man. For me, I can't really do too much flag flying to those numbers. 1.47's just, at least it's not 1.3. I get that, but yeah, this is to give you an idea of where we've been. So this was also from WrestleNomics, and this was posted a few days ago. So this shows from 93. This is from the very start of Raw, going all the way to where we are now, TV cable rating. So you can see that in 93, like the cable rating is going up. So you can see 1.5 to 2.5, blah, 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 right? And I think this is like, I don't quite know how this works, but I think it's like percentage of people that watch the show. So I don't know if it means that like 1.5% of everyone in America was watching in 93 when it first started. Don't know if it means something along those lines. What the numbers on the side actually translate to, I'm not sure, but clearly the higher the number, the better. I think we all can appreciate that. And then we've got the years going obviously along the bottom. So you can see during the Attitude Era, you can see like why the Attitude Era is so fondly remembered with like 98, 99, 2000, those 3 years in particular. I mean, look where we are there. I mean, we have just never been in that range or even close to that range since we had the Attitude Era. We went to Spike, and look at the drop off, Matt. I mean, we went from 3.5 down to like 2. That red line is when we were on a different network, and look at the crash. It's not their fault. I think the line would have looked similar if we'd have stayed on USA Network. I think that it is just a reflection of the Attitude Era coming to an end, and wrestling maybe not feeling like the destination television. Funny, isn't it? Because when WCW were defeated and WWF won, there was obviously a big celebration, but in retrospect, look at what happened to the ratings when the Attitude Era ended. Look at what happened. Like you can almost pinpoint really where, like, yeah, there's a little dip down, but then woof, just drops off a cliff, doesn't it? And then really since that point, I mean, you can say since the year 2000, it's just been a pretty steep decline till 2004, and then a gradual decline going all the way down to 2023. So yeah, look, it's been tracking this way for a long time, but this is where it gets. I mean, 1.4 right now to me is low. That's a low number. That's a number which I struggle to celebrate. But the truth is, you fast forward a few years, that 1.4 might look like an amazing number. We might be under 1 million. Because there has just been this gradual decline over the years. So we've spoken a lot about this. It's scary. It's scary where it's going. The only crumb of comfort that you can take from it is that I think people are still engaged with wrestling. It's just that they're not necessarily sitting down and watching the shows. I think that people have an awareness of WWE as a brand. I think that the fact that it sold for, like, was it 6 billion? Or it might even have been, was it 6 billion? It might even have been more, 9 billion maybe. It was around there. I mean, that is above what Man United are going to sell for. Man United wanted 6 billion. They couldn't get it. People were offering 5. So, I mean, WWE is bigger than Manchester United. And how much value Man United has got. So clearly there is a very strong brand there. It's just sold for billions and billions and billions, even though these ratings have been declining for a long time. But I keep saying it, there's going to come a point where the TV money, it can't be sustainable. They're not going to be able to keep getting these big TV deals if those numbers are going to keep going down to the point where at some point it's not going to be sustainable for the TV companies. At some point it's not going to be possible for them to be able to offer up these big masses amounts for such low returns. So I don't know. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy where we are with wrestling. We've had this conversation so many times. I feel like we're just going over old ground. But yeah, it's scary. But I also think there's an argument that people just consume this content a different way now. I think that there is still a love for wrestling, and there's still a place for wrestling, but it's not that it gets watched on TV so much now. Now it's social media and highlight clips. I mean, CM Punk's return did 100 million views. The Rock, when he came back, 120 million, wasn't it, on social media? So, like, you know, these are big numbers. And, you know, Logan Paul is involved at the moment. So, you know, it's getting traction through him on social media. So there's definitely a lot of good things going on, but it's just sort of away from TV as TV just continues its gradual decline. This is why when people are like, yeah, but you're up against football. It's like, we've been up against football every year. Every year we've been up against football. Like, we can't keep blaming football. We have to admit that, like, just cable viewership is in decline. People are just not watching TV as much. That, to me, is the bigger factor than football. Football has always been there. It will always be there. But people just aren't watching wrestling the same way that they were. And they're not watching TV the same way that they were. I wonder if there needs to be a new system for, like, you know, a global number or a way of bringing in social media views as well. Can you mix TV with social media to give you a better idea? You know, would that be a better representation as to how people are watching wrestling in 2023? I don't know. I mean, I say it's a concern because you could look at those numbers and see it that the interest in wrestling is declining. I don't feel like that's true. But then the other thing that we have to be aware of is that we do live in echo chambers now. We don't realize it, but you follow the people that have your interests, and you go on social media and you see in your feed the people that are talking about the things that you are interested in because you engage with that content, you like that content, you follow those people. Those people follow you because they like the content you're putting out. And so it is an echo chamber. You're not seeing the wider picture. You're just seeing your little corner of social media. So it's very easy to fall into the trap of thinking that, no, everyone loves wrestling. When I go on social media, it's all people are talking about. Yes. And there's a reason for that. Because it is being tailored to you. And you are seeing the people that are talking about wrestling, but that little corner makes up a very small percentage of the bigger picture. But then you look at their social media numbers, and their YouTube channel, for example, is in the top 10 of YouTube. So that is undisputed. That's undisputable. So that gives me encouragement. You know, if people didn't care for wrestling, didn't rate wrestling, didn't think wrestling was that special, how would WWE have a top 10 YouTube channel? So that definitely gives me encouragement. But as someone who talks about wrestling and has a wrestling dedicated channel, those numbers are scary to me. Those numbers concern me. Genuinely, I'm not just saying it because, like, if this is where we are now in 5 years' time, what do those numbers look like? And in 5 years' time, how many people join us on live streams? If their TV numbers are declining, it's got to mean that it's getting harder for people joining and watching on a live stream as well. So, you know, it's definitely something that I am aware of and keeping an eye on. But I suppose you also just have to take the positives. And I think, you know, listen, if that show averaged 147, it means there was large parts that were under 147 because the average was 147. So that segment doing a 188, you do go, fair play, goods, 188, okay, lovely. Would have liked more, but I think you could always say that. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. This is where we are, and I think there'll be lots of differing opinion as to how we judge where wrestling is in 2023 going into 2024. I think if you look at the quality of the show, we're not talking about the quality of the shows, we're just talking about the people that tune in. But I said I think Raw yesterday was the best Raw I saw this year. If people want to argue, no, it was the April 12th. I mean, I can't remember. You know, but what I can remember is I don't give out too many 8s, and I felt very good and comfortable, and I don't regret giving out an 8 for yesterday's show. And actually, there's a lot of praise doing the rounds for that Seth CM Punk segment. And so, because you never know when you're watching it live how things are going to be received. Obviously, when we're watching it live, we're reacting to it live. We can't look and see what the reaction is. We can't fake our reaction and our thoughts. We give our honest opinions. So if I don't think something's good and everyone else out there did, then, you know, okay, fine. That's how it's gone. This is why I think what I think, and, you know, I'm at odds with everyone else. But we really enjoyed that Seth CM Punk segment, and seemingly so did everyone else. I was talking to Tommy about it on the web. He said that he watched it and thought it was excellent and they'd done a great job. So yeah, it seems like very well received. And so from a quality point of view, from an excitement point of view, from CM Punk being back point of view, good. Exciting. Tick, 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 tick. But, you know, all this work, and we're still getting 1.4s on Raw. It's I feel sorry for it. They deserve better. The stuff that Triple H has been doing deserves better views than 1.47. I suppose you could make that argument for AEW, the amount of work they put in, and they just cannot get to that, like, even 900,000, let alone 1 million. 900,000, like, you could make the argument, like, the amount of work they're putting in, they deserve better as well. Like, but yeah, it's just where we live in it. It's the modern world. If you look at the tweet that I tagged you in from WrestleNomics, it was Offset. Will Offset the claim people are not tuning into Raw. You see the segment before and after that segment. You see the segment before and after. So the breakdown shows 1.5, 1.4, and then 1.881. So this says to me... I mean, this says to me that there was one segment that really grabbed people's attention, and the rest of it just sort of was there. I mean, look at this. I mean, it just trends down. I mean, that main event does not deliver. You know, we don't really see any. I suppose you get like 30,000 pickup, but look at this line. You go from 1583, and it's just a pretty steady line down to 1255. Granted, we do hit 1226 in the segment before. We don't really get much of a pickup. But, I mean, there's just one segment that really stands out. This averaged 1487. 1487. I mean, if that 1881 had been 1470, right? Which, looking at this line, is probably where it should have been. Had it have just been a normal segment, 1470 would have it like 38,000 above the segment after and 30,000 below the segment before. It would have it bang in the middle, right? What the hell would that have done to the average? What would the average have worked out then? If you remove that 400,000 extra people that tune in for CM Punk and Seth. I mean, it's all just a bit worrying. But it's December as well. We have to keep reminding ourselves it's December. It's, you know, it's Christmas. People are out buying. But again, it doesn't make a difference. I'm saying these things to try and comfort myself. But the truth is, we've had Decembers before. That graph that I showed earlier, there was Decembers in all of them years as well. And we were getting higher numbers. And we had American football as well. And we were getting higher numbers. The truth is that if we were to get a graph of people watching TV, I'm pretty sure it would probably look the same. People are just tuning out, aren't they? cable cutting, don't they call it? Cable cutting. Cord cutting or something. And, they're leaving traditional TV, and I think this is where we've seen people go to Netflix and go to Amazon Prime, maybe HBO Max. It's more content on demand now. It's more content on demand. So, I mean, I don't know. Is there a considerable amount of people that watch Raw after the fact? Does that get weighted into that number? I don't know. We're not WrestleNomics. I know we're spending a long time on this, but I think it's an interesting conversation. It's an interesting conversation because it's going to come to a head at some point. Something's going to happen at some point. If 1.4 million people bought one wrestling shirt and one figure, it's a lot of money. You could be taking £50 from 1.4. If you're taking £7 million, I think the merch helps, says Dortnight. Amin said Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory this Friday on the USA title tournament. 400,000 tuning out in 15 minutes is pretty scary, said Big Time. Yeah, I mean, what followed it? It was Ivar, Valhalla, Bronson. Ivar against Bronson. And Valhalla, Ivar backstage and whatever. Shame, because that was actually a banging match. So, shame that more people didn't stick around for that. But, do you know, I mean, I wonder if that is... I mean, maybe WWE already think along these lines. And that is that rather than trying to book a 3-hour show, we need to book moments. We need to book... even if we have, like, moments in the show that are a bit flat, as long as we've got several moments that we can spike the rating... and several moments that we can create social media moments out of, we go for that rather than booking a cohesive show. And I wonder if that's why some of the storylines have not felt in the past like they've been a big focus, because the truth is that there's just not as many people watching the whole shows now. I mean, 400,000 people came in and went again for that CM Punk segment, so... I don't know. It's really interesting. I find it interesting. Have you seen the video about how much it costs to make an episode of Raw and SmackDown? It costs $800,000 for one single show. Yeah, I mean, the cost is going to be insane. This is why I think, was it Dortnight just saying about if everyone spends £50, it's like, well, they need to, because you're paying CM Punk how much? You're paying Roman Reigns how much? Paying Brock Lesnar how much? I mean, the ratings have gone down, which means that probably your ticket sales are not as strong as they were. Your merch sales probably aren't as strong as they were in, back in the day, whatever. It means that we're having to try and charge... We said this, didn't we? Because we're dealing with less people, we're having to charge more money. So we're breaking record gates, but we're doing it by increasing the ticket prices, which means if you want to go to the wrestling, it's now going to cost you more to go to the wrestling. Maybe if there was more people around, we could bring the ticket prices down, but we know that they would never do that. But yeah, God, the amount of money that, think of all the staff. I mean, how many thousands of staff must WWE have to pay for if you take into account the headquarters and you take into account producers and the touring staff, the people that set up the ring, the doctors, the wardrobe, the makeup. And that's before you even pay the wrestlers. And then you've got to rent the arenas. And then you've got to stream the image out, like the images, the actual footage, like... How much is a satellite and a satellite van, and however much it is to actually bounce all of that information around the world? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just know that they're very reliant on the TV money. We all know they're very reliant on the TV money. It's their big driver, is the TV money. And it does just worry me that at some point that TV money is going to fall, or it's going to go away. Because TV is going away. So if TV goes away, what the flip do they do then? This is why this is an interesting conversation, because what are they going to do? The TV companies can't keep paying this kind of large amounts out if they're not going to be getting it back from the advertisers. But the advertisers aren't going to be going to these channels when you've got YouTube and you've got other avenues that you can spend your advertising budget. You don't have to spend it on TV, and certainly if ratings are going to get as low as they're going. So it's maybe one that we can again, touch on in the future. But it is one that I think wrestling fans should be aware of. This is why ratings get spoke about so much, because it's the trend where it's heading is not looking good. And you're going to have to replace that TV money with something else. Something else is going to have to provide you hundreds of millions of dollars. Without that hundreds of millions of dollars of TV money, you ain't got a company. Or you're going to have to let everyone go, and we're going to have to, start doing school gyms again. And we're going to have to start, cutting back and stripping back and kind of going back to, smaller rosters, less paid. And then maybe the Saudis come in with a wrestling promotion and, just splurge money. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know where it's going. I really don't know where it's going. Don't know what the future's going to look like. I know that WWE have clearly got a lot of people that are going to be looking at this. And I'm sure they're going to be having some sort of plan in place. But, yeah. Concerning. Jordan Knight said Saudi would buy the rights for all of WWE shows, then pay to watch. They don't care about profit. They're just happy to have the rights. Saudi, you're right. Saudi might be the solution. Vince has actually said that Saudi is their home. And they've just opened up that WWE experience over there. You might be completely right. What if that's what they're doing? What if they're looking at Saudi thinking, that's where we need to be in with them? That's where the money is in the future. Is in these state funds that have got all this money that they can buy all the events. I don't know that they will outright buy WWE. I mean, they could have, to be honest, and they would have saved themselves probably a bit of money if they had. I don't know why they didn't, actually. I don't know why they didn't. I mean, $6 billion to them is a drop in the ocean. They could have bought WWE, and they could have still run it in America. Of course, it's the biggest market for it, so you still could have based it in America. But they could have bought it, and then they could have, owned it and found a way of kind of securing its future for the long term. I just don't know what Endeavor's plan is. Don't know what their plan is. Don't know if they've got a plan. They want to. There's no evidence yet of them doing anything with WWE and UFC and combining. And I did wonder if we were going to run the same towns, do Saturday WWE, Sunday UFC, same building, save on costs. Don't know. We have cut back on a few people. I mean, some of the headquarters staff have been let go. So I suppose there's some savings being made there. We know that Endeavor have a marketing team. So I think they got rid of the marketing department or whatever for WWE, maybe the finance department. There was some big cuts done at the head office. But I've not seen any of that kind of strategic stuff at the moment. Not with, there's not, since they took over, there's not really been any sort of change. Not that I can point to. So I wonder what 2024 will hold. I really do wonder. I mean, I think we are going through a period of change because we are seeing them doing shows in the UK. We're seeing them do shows in Berlin and Paris. Is it a case that they are really looking to try and go global and tap in and put big shows on? More big shows, make more money by, going to bigger venues. Perhaps it's hard to just keep doing that in America. So, if we can do several shows abroad, one in the UK, maybe one in mainland Europe, one in Australia, one in Saudi, a couple in America, you can do bigger venues, or you can charge more because WWE is just not around. It comes around once a year. It's your once a year opportunity to go. I wonder if they're looking at something like that. Don't know. I really think, I know we're banging on about it, I know we need to move on, but I really think there's going to be big repercussions as the numbers of TV keeps going down. I think we're going to get to the point where it's not going to, the TV money is not going to be there, and that is what is propping up WWE at the moment, is the TV money. So if you take that TV money away, or you drastically decrease it, you've got to replace it. What do you replace it with? Not my problem, but it might be my problem if WWE go bust or something in like 10 years. But yeah. Can they get more out of YouTube revenue? Can they get more out of online sponsorships? Can they get more out of, I don't know. They've got rid of home video. That ain't going to be bringing them any money anymore. Probably only made them about $5 anyway a year, but that ship has sailed. Donald said, Daze, Punk versus Dominic the same night as World End. It's not on TV though, is it? So it's gonna be, I don't know if it's in the same area. Is it in the same area? Is Punk against Dominic in the same place as World's End? But it's not a televised thing. I think it's just a house show, summer tour thing. I don't think WWE are too worried. Their quarterly earnings are still in the 250 million range. What's that? 800 to 1 billion a year. Yeah, but that's TV money. This is what we're talking about. Their main income is from TV money. So if that goes away, which it's not going to at the moment, but we know that because they've just had an increase for SmackDown, that, you know, their negotiations this time have gone well, but Fox pulled out. Fox weren't in the race, and actually, you know, looking at who's come forward for the shows, it is interesting that we're not seeing any big streaming platforms be successful in getting the rights. It's still traditional like TV that have come in and got the rights. So it's sort of, I don't know if that suggests the streaming platforms aren't really serious in going for WWE. But the CW network has got NXT. USA network has got SmackDown. We're still waiting to find out where Raw is going to go, so we don't know the numbers there. But they've had some nice increases for the shows this time around. But as we said, if those numbers keep going down, there will come a point where less and less people are going to be bidding for it, and that the money is not going to be as high as it was. So yeah, I mean, look, the money's fine right now, but we ain't talking about right now. We're talking 5 years, 10 years down the road. If that trend continues, which it has been since the year 2000, of it keep going down, then what replaces that TV money? This is where 50 million a show in Saudi Arabia, this is what Dortnight was saying. Like, the Saudis might be the answer. That might be where the future for WWE really lies, is in Saudi Arabia. With that kind of 50 million a show, there's nothing. But to be honest, they don't even need to be spending that. They're overspending. They don't need to spend 50 million for a show. I'm sure they could get the same show for 30 million, 20 million. It's kind of crazy they're spending as much. Will there come a point where the Saudis wake up and don't spend that kind of money, you know? Here's Carmelo and Trick. So he got cut off. I don't know why he got cut off, but he got cut off as we went over to a replay package. So we are just seeing what happened at Deadline. There is CM Punk. 10 years time, Raw, NXT, SmackDown will probably be on the WWE Network and Peacock. Yeah. I don't know. Is my answer? I don't know. I mean, if they put SmackDown, Raw, NXT on there, I mean, can Peacock spend more than $1 billion? They're spending $1 billion on the back catalogue. I mean, how much would it cost them to have all of those shows and the back catalogue, and could they even afford it? This has got to be a major focus for WWE. This long-term strategy. It's got to have been something that Endeavor looked at. If I was buying WWE, this is what I'm interested in. I'll tell you that now. I ain't interested in next year. I ain't interested in the short term, because I can see the numbers at the moment. I can see what the short term looks like, right? I'm interested in 5-10 years down the road. What does that look like? Right, video package for Deadline. We've got the Breakout tournament tonight, which haven't really seen much detail of. We know the people that are in it, but I don't think we've seen the bracket. Certainly, I've not seen any bracket. So, we'll have a look and see what they've got in store for us. What channel is NXT on in the UK? It's on TNT Sports 2, Jim. TNT Sports 2. Edward said, can you guess my most listened to artist? Jake Paul. Jake Paul. Probably Jake Paul's rap tracks. His diss tracks. Problem Childs. That kind of stuff. London is my city. That kind of thing. No, wasn't it London is my country or something? What did that guy sing on that track? England is my city. I think it was England is my city, was what they said. On some, was it a Logan Paul track? Or Jake Paul track? England is my city. Daze. Starting to believe that WWE squashed the MLW lawsuit because Raw is getting ready to move to Warner Brother at Discovery, says Corey. They could be. Dave was teasing something earlier. Dave Meltzer. Okay, Carmelo's been attacked. Trick. Who's this? Who's... Oh, is it Cora? Cora Jade in the ring. Crowds are booing away. The fog was finally lifted, says Cora. Everything's fine. I'm back now. You was begging me to come back. Who was doing that? Was that you? I wasn't doing this. Now you love me. Who's she talking to? Who are these people that are kissing pictures of her, tweeting her, and are now saying that they love her? Who are these people? I feel like she's talking to like one specific person, like Malcolm from Kentucky or something. I'll give the women in the Iron Survivor match their flowers. Why does she look so awkward? She's kind of got like she's like pacing around. She's got her legs kind of like twisted a little bit and. She can't promo live, man. There's a few women that struggle. And guys, in all fairness. It's all flat, monotone. She looks awkward. Here's Lyra. It's crazy you've been away for 4 whole months. You might not have changed these past 4 months, but things around here definitely have. I'm the NXT Women's Champion. She holds it up. She gets a cheer.
I don't care what generation.
Okay. Here comes someone else. It's Blair Davenport. Got Deadline at the bottom. Oh, yeah, well spotted. Here's Blair Davenport. Cora as a face was bland, but as a heel is similar to Theory. It just sounds a bit forced. Yeah, I mean, look, she's got talent, and this is developmental. But there are also people out there that tell me that she should be on the main roster right now, and then I have to watch and listen to her just be so awkward and monotone and just not comfortable. Maybe it's nerves. To be honest, maybe she's just not had that much experience of, like, talking live. She's never been champion. Okay, here's someone else. So we got someone else coming down. We got Cora J. We got Blair Davenport. Here's Nikita Lyons. Crowd are pumped up to see her. Okay, good. Good. We just get some action. Do you know what? What I will say about Nikita is she came out and she was like shouting as she was coming down to the ring. She provided a bit of energy. Lyra grabs her belt. Cora and Blair on the outside. Lyra holds up that women's championship. Okay. Booker T's excited that Nikita is back. Okay, they're talking about Deadline. Cora looks incredible, said Hacker of Tomorrow. Tipsin said whoever put her in leather and denim should be fired. Daze, she is my favourite in all of NXT. Do you think they will ever call her to the main roster? Who? Cora Jade? Definitely. They see a lot in her. She's still very, very young. But I think sometimes people can confuse the amount of time someone has been in NXT with their ability. You know, she is someone that still has some struggles, and I don't think so much in ring. Her matches are fine. But, like, we've done a bit of work on her character. Obviously, we've turned her heel, and I think that's been a good success. She's a much better heel. Much better heel. But she just needs to get a bit more comfortable. And I want to see a little bit more personality coming through in her promos. Like, it still feels like she's delivering a script. And it can be a bit monotone. And she can seem a bit awkward. And it's all very, like, blah, blah, blah. 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 Like, give me a bit more than that. Let's get some enthusiasm in there. Let's get the kind of fired up the crowds. Let's point someone out in the crowd and lay into them. Let's get the crowd on board a bit more. Let's work. Let's do something. So I think she's still got improvements to make there. But she's still in NXT. I mean, it is true. I know that there'll be people going, it's NXT, it's developmental. They're not going to be perfect. That's fine. But if we're going to watch it and we're going to talk about the show, then we are going to have to point out the areas that we want to see them improve. And it's nothing more than that. That's an area that she needs to improve. But her in-ring, her match quality is pretty good. That feels like it's there or thereabouts. You know, she doesn't look lost in her matches. She's got a good move set. She seems quite comfortable when the bell rings. But it's just the promo side of it. I think her character's all right as well, actually. Character's all right. I think the kind of... She seems to have grown into the heel character quite well. Quite well. I think she's in a good place with, like, being a heel. So, and her backstage promos, I don't remember them being too much of a problem. I think it's just... It is hard, isn't it? In front of the lights, live TV. You're the only one in the ring. It's all eyes on you. You're live on the USA Network. You're being shown around the world. You've got a few hundred people that are just... And everyone is looking at you. Like, that is hard. That is difficult. That is a barrier that people are going to have to try and overcome. And... She'll definitely get there. I've got no concerns that she won't be able to do it. She'll definitely get there. She's just not quite there yet. Kappa said, I like Cora. I even deemed her the future. The promo and energy was a bit of a yawn. I feel like the ladies have generic entrances and promos. I don't know if it's just the ladies, to be honest. I mean, I think it's just a journey that everyone goes on, and everyone completes this journey at a different speed, and they complete different elements at a different speed. And some people struggle with certain elements more than others. You know, if you're a very outgoing person, you know, I mean, look at Logan. Logan is a YouTuber. He's used to talking in front of people. He's used to doing press conferences for boxing. He's obviously used to doing YouTube videos and putting himself in situations where he's, you know, having banter with his mates. And, you know, for him to get a microphone, go onto the USA Network on Raw or go onto Fox on SmackDown, have millions of people watching him, cut a live promo, considering he'd had no training in NXT or anything. I'm sure they went through it with him before. But relatively, he's got no experience in the wrestling world. And he just kills it, doesn't he? He just absolutely smashes it out the park. Because he's an outgoing person that's got experience in that kind of field. A lot of these people that are in NXT, they weren't wrestlers on the indie scene. They're not used to having a microphone live, talking in front of people, having all eyes on them. You know, some people shine in those moments. Some people come out in those moments. Some people go in those moments. Some people, those moments, you know, makes them smaller. Some people, it makes them bigger. So everyone kind of has to go through this journey. It's just a learning thing, but I don't think it's like a girl or a boy thing, a man or a woman thing. I think it's just an everyone thing. And everyone faces these challenges and has to overcome them. Just gives us an idea of, like, you know, where she is, what she needs to work on. She's still one for the future. She's still going. She's still main roster bound. I've no doubt about that. Here's Dragon Lee. He's talking about beating Dirty Dominic Mysterio and becoming the North American champion. Wes, you have all my respect. I want to defend this title like he did as much as possible. I wonder, it's weird, isn't it? I mean, they've kept Kelly, but they lost that Mackenzie, didn't they? Must be a little bit awkward, that. I feel sorry for Mackenzie. She was really good. I don't know why we lost her. I really liked her. Here's Briggs, Jensen, and Fallon Henley making their way down to the ring then. They're going to be in action against Metaphor. We saw Metaphor making their way out just before the break. So, Metaphor against Briggs, Jensen, and Fallon Henley. Days, Dom against CM Punk announced for a live event the same day as AEW World's End at Long Island. Okay. Big Time said, I feel like NXT has run out of steam. There was a good 4 months where it felt like the hottest show, getting people talking and a buzz. Since Havoc, it's just gone into autopilot. Well, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I think that we stopped the big names coming down, and so that stopped the buzz. But did it drop the quality of the show? Don't know. I mean, I think that Deadline was fairly well received. I mean, granted, it was not regarded as one of their best shows of the year. So maybe there has been a little bit of a step down. It said, you know, when you're bringing this main roster talent down, it is going to create a buzz. I think it is going to be very exciting because you are going to have so many people like, oh my God, Becky's around, you know? Oh my God, we've got Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Rhea's around and, you know, all this. And it must give you a lift. I mean, imagine if you was a wrestler training at the Performance Center. You are going to put on your best if Randy Orton is there, you know? You're not going to want to look stupid in front of Randy Orton. You're not going to want to look stupid in front of Becky Lynch. It's going to bring out the best in you just having them around. Granted, you should be professional enough where you're trying your best every day, but I could imagine you go into a reserve, digging that little deeper, you know, really not wanting to show yourself up in front of these legends. So I think, it may have had that effect as well, where some of these people were really reaching for that A game, really reaching for the top shelf and bringing out the best of them. So maybe there has been a step down now that they're not around. Perhaps they're not quite reaching for the top shelf anymore. I mean, Dragunov is. Dragunov doesn't have any other shelves. Dragunov is just only top shelf. But I don't know. I don't feel like it's fallen off a cliff. I don't feel like it's in a bad place. But has it took a little step down since we don't have Becky around and we don't have Rhea and Judgment Day and all of that? Yeah, maybe. Under the bottom rope goes Briggs and Jensen. Selling point, 1 or 2 names sprinkled in. It's an interesting angle, similar to tuning in for the Bloodline, said Big Time. Yeah, but it's not sustainable. It's not something that I think... That's not why I love NXT, and that's not what made me fall in love with NXT. So for me, that little sprinkle of main roster stars coming down, that was a nice little bonus, but it's never going to be what NXT is. And it's never what NXT was. For me, when I think of, if someone was to say, why do you love NXT? I'd say because it is a smaller WWE brand that you feel that you're kind of closer to the action. You're watching not in big arenas, but you're watching in arenas where there's just a few hundred people that are watching. And even at Full Sail, that was the case. In fact, it's probably got smaller since we moved to the Performance Center. But it's a show that focuses on development. It focuses on the stars of tomorrow. It focuses on people learning, and they are of a standard where you can watch and enjoy the show, and it's not like terrible. But there are clear things that still need to be worked on. Like, you're not going to be getting Roman Reigns and John Cena's fully rounded. These people know who they are. Everything's nailed in. You might get a little bit of that as people come towards the end of their time at NXT. Like a Bron Breakker or a Carmelo Hayes. Like, there's a bit of a mixed bag in it because you've got people, as we said, that are all on that journey. Some people are just starting out. We're going to see a breakout tournament men's breakout tournament, these guys have had next to no TV time. But then mixed in there is your Carmelo Hayes, your Bron Breakker, people that are knocking on the door of going to the main roster. So I sort of look at it and go, well, what I love about NXT is that you've got like the stars of tomorrow today. You can see some limitations, but then equally you can see people that are ready to move up. And, there's people that you can watch that you're excited about what their future's going to hold, and you can watch them now. We knew Finn Balor was going to be a big star when he was in NXT with the demon and all of that. And so, like, you do go, I cannot wait for this guy to get to the main roster. I remember that being the case for Charlotte and Sasha and Bayley and like all Nakamura and Sammy, and you look at these people and you're like, I cannot wait, man. When this person gets called up, it's going to be sick. It's going to be sick. And that's what I love about it. It's never about the big names coming down. That's just a little bonus. That's just a little, we do that from time to time. But it doesn't bother me that we don't do that now. That's not what I enjoy about it. I enjoy watching the Andrades, the Johnny Garganos, the Tommaso Ciampas, the Revivals, the American Alphas. I enjoy watching all of those. So it's all right that they're not around. It's just, is it a case that the wrestlers that are there have just took their foot off the gas a little bit? Have people just took their foot off the gas now that the main roster stars aren't around as much? Is it that we're saving some compelling storylines now for 2024? Don't know. As I said, I don't think it's in a bad place. I think it's still cooking. I think we're still miles ahead of 2.0. And I think there's been some well-received NXTs recently. Kick there by Oro. Did you see that CM Punk confronting Cora Jade backstage at NXT Deadline? I did. K-Dub said, WWE is doing a great job of building young talent. When they show up on the main roster, you're like, oh my god, look who it is. Not like, oh my god, who is this guy? Don't get me wrong, I love WWE shows, but I love going to my local promotions more, says Johnny. That's good. Wrestling is wrestling is wrestling. There's a place for all of it. There's a place for WWE. There's a place for local promotions. In fact, I think NXT was at its best. Its very best. It's tippity top when we was bringing in local talent, indie talent, and we were then training them up in the WWE way. What we do now is we bring in athletes with potential, and we try to train them wrestling. So it means that we start at a much lower base. Back in the day, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Finn Balor, Nakamura, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Neville, all these people were wrestlers before they came to NXT. So they already had great wrestling ability. They already knew how to take bumps, knew how to do the basics, had a character, had a name. And, it's funny, actually. That's something we don't get these days. But back in the day, old school NXT, there would be teases of someone coming, and then you'd be like, oh my god, imagine if Deonna Purrazzo rocked up at NXT. That's what it used to be like. Someone big from a different company elsewhere, someone from Ring of Honor, someone from Impact, someone from Evolve, someone from CZW that's made a name for themselves. They would end up coming to NXT, and then there'd be like some little teases, video packages, all this kind of stuff. And then they would end up debuting. It was like, oh my god. And it was like, it was sick. It was so exciting. And then you had this melting pot of like all this great indie talent. And this is why the matches banged, man. Because you just had people that really knew what they were doing because they'd been doing it for years. Whereas now, we take athletes and we have to train them up from scratch. And you've got a lot of people that just don't know what they're doing. A lot of what you're watching here, these people would have been doing it on the indies before, and then we would have picked them up. So that's why it's not the same as how it used to be. It's why it's not the same as Black and Gold. But it is so much better than NXT 2.0. I think we've kind of cracked how to do it with these next in line talents now, and come out with a product that a lot of people still say is their favorite wrestling show of the week, and it has had a very, very good 2023. Here's Tiffany. Is that Tiffany? Tiffany Stratton has come down. She's gone after Fallon Henley. These two brawling away to the back. There's Noam Dar with Brooks. 1, 2. Kick out there by Dar. Dar goes back to the corner, charging over. Tag. In comes Briggs. Big shots coming in there, and Dar is back against the ropes. Here's Oro Mensah. He goes down. This match has been going for a little while. Oh, wow. Massive monster boot. That was huge. Huge. Just took his head off. Against the ropes he goes again. Oh. Noam Dar turned inside out as it's a win for Briggs, Jensen, and Fallon Henley. So a win for the faces. Big momentum building victory. That was big. Turned him inside out, man. Inside out. James said, what if we get a swerve in the Mello trick story? People think Mello did it. What if it was actually Lashley trying to get Mello on his own so that he leaves NXT and joins him in the Profits? That would be interesting. I don't know about Lashley being the one. But I do like the idea of it being not Carmelo, because I think everyone's like, it's Carmelo. So I would very much welcome a swerve there, yes. Carmelo is medically cleared. Lexus? Carmelo? Carmelo said he's going to call out the person he thinks has attacked him because he's felt like this before. Right, men's breakout tournament. Are we going to get the... Oh, it begins next. I was going to say, are we going to get the bracket? I'm interested in this. This is the first glimpse that we're going to get at some new faces. Some of these names, I think, have been on NXT Level Up, and some of them have been on NXT before. They clearly like the Miles Bourne guy because they've actually been using him in a bit of a storyline. He's in this. Obafemi as well, we've seen before. Dang, metaphor lost. I'm surprised. Briggs is great, though, said Jobson. K-Dub said, I hope Cross randomly shows up in NXT and just destroys everyone. They're not doing anything on the main roster with him. Do you know, I saw a tweet from him just, actually, which, I nearly replied to, and I'm so glad I didn't. He sent a message out about negativity. For a joke, I was going to reply, shut up. But it would have been a joke. And I'm pretty sure it would have been wrongfully received. And I think it may have resulted in me getting blocked. So I'm glad that I didn't do that. But it did make me laugh. Whenever I read something like that, that's always my go-to default. But Carrion said, every person who steps into the ring does it for the core purpose to make people watching smile. To help them escape the things that are preventing them to. Grief, illness, loss, you name it. with all the negativity on here recently, I just thought I would throw that out there. I actually don't know what negativity is referring to, apart from literally every tweet that's ever been on X. I don't know. Has there been an increase in negativity? Have we seen a negativity increase? I'm not sure. But for me, I read that and my first reaction is, I need to quote tweet, shut up. That's what makes me laugh. It's not my fault. But I didn't. That's the important thing. I didn't. Sometimes it's good to have restraint. I hope my local guy I'm really good friends with is always calling him. Oh, it got retracted. It got tucked away. Hey, William, you're in the chat. I had a message from someone saying, claiming to be you, saying that they didn't want to be a moderator anymore. But I didn't believe that it was you because it was a different account. Like, it had numbers at the end of the name. It was like William Hensey, So I sent a message back going, is this a second account? But in my head, I was like, I don't think this is really you. So I just thought I'd let you know that I mean, we don't need another William Hensey. Trust me. One covers us. But yeah, I thought I would ask you when I saw you. And this is me seeing you. Dork Knight said, Twitter and X has always been trash. I don't know why people are only just figuring that out. William says no. Someone trying to unmod William? Yeah. Well, I don't get it, actually, because they're not trying to unmod. They were just saying, I don't want to be a mod anymore. I feel like I just want to chill in the chat or something like that. That's how they worded it. I just want to chill in the chat. And I was like, okay. But they weren't asking to be unmodded because they weren't modded. Because it looked like it was either a fake account or it was a second account. But yeah, it was in the comments. I wonder if I can find it in the comments. We're just looking back at Deadline. I've been doing a good job of getting into the comments. I'm a legend. The problem is I replied to it. So it's no longer in my I haven't replied list. I've got a list of comments I've not replied to. Have I got a list here that I have? Yeah, there we go. That I'll show you. I've got it. There is Trey Brownhill. I'll make it bigger. That's what she said. Oh, look. Daze, I've decided I don't want to be a moderate for life anymore because I miss supporting the channel without a wrench. I hope you understand. I said, is this a second account? And then they replied, yes, it is my second account. But William Hensey, what, 8 hours ago? William Hensey 115. Boom. Keanu Carver. NXT 2.0 looked like Nickelodeon. It was Vince just got flashbacks of the new generation. Scott, shout out to you, my friend. That's what she said. She said, you're right, Daze. That is what she said. Thank you. That's what she said. Oh, hello. Is that Lexis King coming out? Why is he nailing people? There's Miles Bourne. You're looking at the breakout star right there, said Booker. talking about Lexis King. There's Obafemi, 3-time SEC shot put champion. I don't know what that means. 3-time SEC? S-E-C? Well, we're underway. First rounds. So, is this Miles Bourne against Obaf? Femi, do we even know who these people are? If this is Miles Bourne against Obafemi, and I think it is, I would have thought that this stood a good chance of being the final. Nice drop kick there by Miles Bourne. There's all Americans. There's honor students. Lovely. It's great drop kicks. I know that's a weird thing to say, but legit great drop kicks. Kick coming in there by Miles Bourne. Do you think WWE will sign my local guy? Well, he'll have to go for a tryout, won't he? They only sign so many people. And I think, to be honest, if your local guy's probably going to need to have a bit of size about him, it's going to be harder if he doesn't. This is why I think they started doing the next in line, because a lot of indie guys are on the smaller side, and I think they were really looking for those next Brocks, next Romans, next Bobby Lashley's, and the indies just aren't full of those kind of guys. I think part of the reason is because those kind of guys try their hand at football and try their hand at like a few other things rather than professional wrestling. And so it kind of leaves you with the smaller guys that are inspired by Brett, Shawn, Rey Mysterio, you know. So I think WWE were like, we need to get some size. We need some big meaty men. So we did the next in line thing, and now we have gone and got some big meaty men. So it depends on how big your guy is, the age of the guy. I think he's going to have to go to a tryout. I don't know that WWE are necessarily out and about in the indies scouting. Who knows, though? Mike could go to Impact, couldn't he? Could go to AEW. Swing and a miss there by Miles Bourne. Gets picked up. Slam down. These two have got a good pace to them. Good energy to them. In the corner, charging over. Miles Bourne on his feet. Obafemi colliding into Miles. Look at that. Lovely little power slam. But Carmelo Hayes is going to SmackDown, said Jeffrey. The Performance Center guys look like freak athletes, says Prince Moolah. Bradley said, how great was Kevin Owens' Universal title run? He had the best run until a person won the belt from him. Did he wear it around his waist? Could Owens be WWE Universal Champion again? Well, I don't know what they're doing with the Universal Championship. I mean, to be honest, I don't know that they're going to separate them. There's not really a need for 3 belts. Obafemi gets the win. So I think that there's probably a chance that Roman's belt is going to just be consolidated into just the WWE Championship. I feel like the Universal Championship might be dead now. Did Owens wear it round his waist? I can't remember him wearing it round his waist. I seem to remember him carrying it over his shoulder. I'm sure he put it around his waist at some point, but visually I can't picture it. Bang. Didn't he lose it to Goldberg? Did he lose it to Goldberg? Oh, there's the thing. Obafemi gets through. Miles Bourne is already out. That's such a shame. Miles Bourne, I don't know why we've eliminated him so quickly. They seem to really like him. So that's a big name to go out. I just said he was a favorite to win it. Okay, here's Lyra Valkyria and Nikita Lyons. I'm not going to let Cora's return poison this women's division. What is that picture? There's a picture of her and Tatum that's been put on the inside of her locker. Okay. Picture on the inside of her locker. It's absolutely rocked Lyra Valkyria's world. That has. She just can't fathom it. She can't get her head around it. How did it get there? Magic. Must have been magic. Right, we're going to commercial break. Bianca was a PC success story, definitely. Triple H wants to replicate that with more athletes who can be taught wrestling quickly. Indie wrestlers wrestle a certain way and they can take more time to retrain, says A. Jobson. X was like, hate is buzz, I'm a creator, says William. William, how do you feel about being so over, so recognizable in this community that there are now fake William accounts? I would take it as a badge of honor, to be honest. It means that you have made an impression, which I think is undeniable, to be honest, on this community. Mitchell said, Daze has got a picture of me in his locker. I do. Completely naked. I've photoshopped Mitchell completely naked and me completely naked, and we're just holding each other in the rain. It's beautiful. It's actually my Christmas card that I've sent out to family this year. Jim said, I am here for any Paxton Lyra relationship angle. Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley would make for a cool duo. Mark says, Katie Vick has declared for the Rumble. Big Time said, did you hear another rumbling of WWE going to Warner Bros. Discovery? I just can't see if AEW isn't getting dropped. It makes no sense when competing for market space and free agents. Well, the only thing I saw was what you sent me, which was Dave Meltzer saying, like, teasing some bigs happening with Raw, and that has been read as being Warner Brothers Discovery. But I haven't seen anything more than that. I think Tony on a conference call said he'd had some really good talks with Warner Brothers Discovery, so it's news is coming. We just don't know what and when. But we know that this Raw news is on the way, and this is definitely the big piece of the puzzle, in it. This is the one that people are really waiting for. Where is Raw going? And what are the knock-on effects going to be? If it goes to Warner Brothers Discovery, who also have AEW, what does that mean for AEW? So Dave Meltzer tweeted out, and this was 7 o'clock UK time, so about 6-7 hours ago. He said, things are changing greatly. Maybe he's going through puberty? Dave said, things are changing greatly. Let's just say things changed greatly with Raw negotiations from a few weeks ago. So wherever we were a few weeks ago, which sort of felt like Disney were looking like they were in the hunt. Things have changed from a few weeks ago. And Punk is a huge part of the selling point. So Dave has got some info. He's being very cryptic. Perhaps he learnt from White Rabbit. And he's being very cryptic, and we don't quite know what he means at the moment. But no, I haven't seen anything else apart from speculation, and the speculation is that he's referring to Warner Bros. Discovery. And as we said, it's going to be big once that news drops. Just don't know when it's dropping. I mean, we've had all the news for NXT and SmackDown, so it can't be too far away. Can't be too far away. Here's Tiffany Stratton. Is the news imminent, like Alvarez said, Anthony? It's imminent. So we should have it by about 2027. Because of that piece of trash I lost at deadline, says Tiffany. She's talking about Fallon Henley. She can't afford to drink what's on the top shelf, unlike me. I'm going to show that little cowgirl where she belongs in life, and she won't come close to being Tiffany Stratton. Hey, here's Dragon Lee. I love his entrance. Look at the smoke coming out the nose. And he walks through, it's like snot. I've never noticed that before. I like the dragon come in on the screen, like, and then he opens his mouth, and then Dragon Lee comes out. But I've never noticed that the smoke comes down from above, like out of his nose. There might be some little bits of like snot in that. You don't want that, do you? As part of your entrance, you don't want a dragon snotting on you. These are the things I think about. Have you ever seen a wrestler walk through dragon snot? I have. NXT, 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 NXT. Let's go. Imagine if Disney had bought WWE. It would mean we could have the WWE library on Disney Plus, and we would get WWE theme park rides at Disneyland's. Yeah, I'm sure they would have done a WWE land. Yeah, I'm sure they would. Imagine that. That's where the Hall of Fame could have been, with all the exhibitions. There'd be like the pile driver, the F5 roller coaster. You know, there'd be all this kind of stuff. Here's Tyler Bates. Here's a big strong boy. Q the Light Knight said, Daze, after I have Elon fired, okay, I'm going to make Disney all about WWE and motorsports. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with your plan to fire Elon Musk from his own company, from the company he owns. I think NXT should have a London pay-per-view next year, as we don't have one on the main roster. I'd love that. NXT used to come over to the UK. I went, and it was amazing. They used to come to the UK, you know. So long ago. I saw them in Bournemouth, and on the card was Shinsuke Nakamura, Finn Balor, Peyton Royce, Asuka, Samoa Joe, and others. Can't remember who else. Maybe a Corbin. But I think it was a Corbin, actually. It's like 2016. It was so good. So good. I mean, you knew that you was watching big names. I mean, Shinsuke was a big name anyway. He'd been in New Japan like 14 years. Did he get mentioned the other day? Former IWGP heavyweight champion. So I mean, you already knew you weren't watching potential. You was watching actual. Headlock takeover. So Dragon Lee against Tyler Bates. We are underway. We're almost done with the first hour. I heard WWE Network could be on Disney Plus one day, said Johnny. Maybe, if they bid for it. I mean, at the moment, it's on Peacock, and it's going to be there for the foreseeable. They've got it for, I think, 10 years. I think they've already had it for 4. So it's going to be there for a while. James said, Meltzer loves to backpedal when he knows he's effed up. Anthony said, did you see Fallon ask Mickie James to form a country girl team? I didn't. Tiffany and Roxanne both seem to be 2 women waiting for a call-up, but are now stale because it's taken so long. Dragon Lee made NXT said FBG. Are you hyped for UFC this weekend, says Michelle. I am and I am not. I am because the card is excellent. So I am hyped in that regard, but I'm just not in the sense of I haven't even started digging into it. I tend to get hyped for a card once I'm really getting stuck into the watching the old fights and everything. I mean, there's so much. I mean, Leon Edwards, Paddy Pimblett, Tony Ferguson, Pantoja, Royval, Colby Covington. I mean, there's so many names involved that, yes, of course, how can you not be? But I will really be pumped once I've sat down and done my research, which will be on Thursday. This is why I don't do predictions for UFC shows, because I haven't really got my notes together until Thursday. It's because of wrestling. Thursday's the only day I get. If Tuesdays was free, then I'd do it on a Tuesday, and then maybe I'd have a bit more time to do a prediction video. Cannot find it. I want to ask whoever it is to come onto the web and let's have a dance off. Oh my god, that's the best. That is the best. What, you can't find the comments? It was 8 hours ago. It was, in fact, they've sent a couple. The first one I just ignored. I was fairly confident it wasn't you. And then they sent it again. So I was like, okay, well, I can't ignore a second one. So I replied to it. And they've responded by claiming that it is your second account. So it is on the... Oh, I'll tell you where it is. I put up... So Travis sent me that really funny picture of CM Punk and MJF staring at each other. And then he put Aubrey in the background. And we showed it on the stream and everything. Well, I like that tweet so much. And actually, this is something that I really want to do going forwards. I really want to find ways of like bringing you lot onto the channel more and kind of involving you more. If you've got funny tweets and stuff like that, and I genuinely think they're funny, right? They make me laugh, right? That's probably the best indicator. If I look at them and they're like, oh yeah, that's good, then cool. But if I look at it like I did that one and it really made me laugh, I will take it and I will put it out on the community page. I will put it out as a post on the channel. I'll happily do that. I'm looking for tweets to do that with, actually, because there are so many tweets from wrestlers and just funny accounts on X that do make me laugh. And if they make me laugh, then they'll make other people laugh. And I'm not looking to get the credit for it. I'll happily still leave who tweeted it so that you can go and check them out and follow them. But I don't know, I'm just into the channel being fun. As we said, we got rid of the news videos. We've replaced them with the LOL videos. And those LOL videos are just fun. That's their only purpose. You're meant to watch them, just find them fun, funny. Couple of minutes, that's it. I'll tell you about a funny moment that happened in wrestling history. You might know about it, you might not know about it, but it's a funny moment, and I try to make the videos fun and funny, and that's it. And if I can flood the channel with those, that can't be a bad thing. Flooding a YouTube channel with funny videos can never be a bad thing. So yeah, this kind of fits in there really, really well. Like taking tweets that are really fun and make me laugh, genuinely make me laugh. So I really like that one from Travis. So I put it on the community tab. The fake William can be found on there. The fake William is in the chat there. So I've pointed you in the right direction now. That is a bit of a random place for a comment, I agree, but that's where it is. So please challenge them to a dance-off on the Wrestling Escape Pods. Here we go. Tyler Bate going against the ropes. He was at commercial break. Bate goes over the top, comes down hard onto Dragon Lee. Hard. Who is being bought by the Saudis, said Anthony. Don't know. Who are the Saudis buying? Tyler grabbing Dragon Lee and chucking him over his head. Belly to belly. Oof. Standing shooting star and kick out there by Dragon Lee. Daze, this is for the title, says Bembo. Do you think he'll win it? I don't think he'll win it. I think they're going to keep it on Dragon Lee. But they could take it off him, I suppose. I think Dragon Lee gets it. But let's see what you lot think. We'll put it as a poll, shall we? Tyler Bate going hard into the corner. Dragon Lee, boom! Kick to the heads. Tyler Bate goes to the outsides. Dragon Lee against the ropes. Suicide dive into Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate goes down. Tyler Bates against Dragon Lee. Back in the ring goes Tyler. Tyler over in the corner. Dragon Lee comes over. Drop kick to the outside. Takes Tyler's legs away from under him. Tyler in the corner. Dragon Lee over the other sides. Charges over into a big drop kick. Cover by Dragon Lee 2. Kick out by Tyler Bate. Kick out by Tyler Bate. Boom, look at that. Anthony said, do you think Andrade is going back to WWE when his AEW deal is up? I would think so. Just because I don't think he's ever really been happy. It's never felt comfortable there. It's never felt like a good fit. And Charlotte is in WWE. I would imagine that he would want to be with her. You'd have to be careful with being with your partner all day and all night. But I'm sure they can make it work. Airplane spin here by Tyler, but I think it's more the case that it just has not felt right. They are starting to use him now, I believe, with putting Lana with him. So, but I don't know if that's going to take away from his frustrations that he's felt over the years, you know. Lyra Valkyria, Nikita Lyons is going to be taking on Cora Jade and Blair Davenport. So you lot are voting in your millions. And at the moment, 87% of you, we've had 53 million votes. And 87% of you think Dragon Lee is going to win this. 15% of you think that it's going to be Tyler Bate. Dragon Lee against the ropes. Tyler Bate charging over. Dragon Lee moves out the way. Suplex, but Bate lands on his feet. Charges over. Off the top rope. Into a clothesline. Dragon Lee goes down. 2. Kick out by Dragon Lee. Kick out by Dragon Lee. Tyler Bate is up over in the corner. Look at this. Boom. Big shot there by Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee is up top and big stomp down. He picks up Tyler Bate. He lands on his feet. Tyler Driver. No, reversed. 1, 2. Kick out. We're getting some close pinfalls. Fun little match, this. Oh, he went for Bot Bang, but that's no good. Bot Bang's no good if you're going to be kneed in the head. Off the top rope, Tyler Bate goes for a clothesline. Dragon Lee. Oh, that'll probably do it. Tyler Bate got caught. And it's a win for Dragon Lee, but yeah, it turned into a really fun contest, that did. Turned into a really fun contest. So, there we go. Dragon Lee. Victorious. I've been waiting all day for another LOL video. What is the schedule, said Crispy Chris. Oh, that's kind, my friends. I really appreciate that. The schedule for them is that I've tried to put them on days where I don't have any other videos. So, for Raw, we obviously did that, like, unseen video. So, I was kind of just thinking that that would do for today. So, there is one planned for tomorrow. So I'm thinking maybe like the day after Raw, the day after SmackDown, there probably won't be one because there'll probably be a video to do with Raw and a video to do with SmackDown following those shows. So there probably won't be a LOL video on a Tuesday or a Saturday, but I think pretty much every other day there will be one. Like there's one that goes up tomorrow, there's one that goes up on Thursday, and there's one that goes up on Friday. I can tell you what they are as well if you want, because I've got them all planned. The one tomorrow is Usi Bloodline. Let's go. That should be fun. That's one of the biggest moments ever. So Briggs says that because I just pinned Noam Dar, I should be next in line for a Heritage Cup match. That's not your style. You're a one-round knockout guy? Yeah, what's up? Why can't he go into a... What's up with this? Your name would look good on the cup. Yep. I don't think Brooks likes this, does he? I get the feeling that he's kind of trying to talk Briggs out of it because he doesn't... Do you reckon he's getting a bit jealous? I wonder if there's a bit of jealousy. Yeah, so I've got Usi coming up tomorrow. On Thursday, I've got... Oh, I love Thursdays. It's when Bob Barker hosted Raw. The Price is Raw. Don't know if you ever saw that. It's really fun. And then we start going into the Christmas themed ones on Friday. I've got a whole raft leading up to Christmas. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Christmas lols coming. We start our first Christmas one on which is DX on Friday. So there's some really good ones coming up. If you haven't seen the ones that have already been uploaded, we've done one on a woman that brought a megaphone to the Royal Rumble and was in the crowd shouting at the wrestlers using a megaphone. Why people don't talk about that more, I don't know. We've done the Shockmaster, which is... I thought I would have to get one of the biggest moments ever in there. So we did the Shockmaster. We did Sid's Half a Brain promo, which is wild. And it's funnier than I thought, actually, because of what Thingy was wearing. Kevin Nash was dressed as Sid and had like this costume on and everything. So it was actually a funnier moment than I thought. Then we did Mark Henry retiring, which is iconic. And then the last one that went up is a real obscure one, but it's one that really made me laugh. And it's where Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the Hart Foundation just get so confused during a match. Like, the illegal man, they're trying to do pins. The referee doesn't know whether to count or not. Bret Hart's falling on his head. It's mental. It's random. It's one of those moments that no one will ever really talk about, but it's just a great one to just pull out and go, have you ever seen this? Look at this car crash. So that was the last one that we did. So yeah, the next one, Usi, Bob Barker, and then a Christmas one with DX. Anthony said, what percentage do you give Seth and Becky to AEW, and does Punk change that? I give it 1%, and Punk going to WWE does change it, because I didn't think Punk would go to WWE. So I have to give 1% for Becky and Seth going to AEW. Otherwise, I might have ended up giving it 0%. I just don't see it. Why would they go to AEW? Why would they go to a place where it's a much smaller promotion? It's going to really hurt their brand. I know that they probably don't like CM Punk for real, but I don't think they hate him to the point where they're willing to chuck their careers away. Yeah, they'll still get paid well by Tony Khan, but what, no more Royal Rumbles, no more WrestleManias. You know, one big show, that Wembley show is the only major show they do. They do Arthur Ashe, but you know, you can forget your 2-day WrestleManias, your SummerSlams, your big Saudi shows. Like, you know, he's on a show where he's getting what, 1.4, nearly 1.5 million viewers a week. He's going to trade that in for near enough half with Dynamite, and that's their big show. Dynamite, 850,000. I mean, I just, it's just not a thing. I just don't see it happening. I just don't. It would be self-sabotage. Edge can do it, because Edge wanted to keep wrestling and WWE said, we don't have any more for you. I can't see WWE saying to Seth and Becky, we haven't got any more for you. You know, if that conversation happened, then maybe. But are they really gonna? I mean, you know, both of them are always around the title picture. Both of them are always, like, amongst the two biggest stars they've got. Both of them, age-wise, is all right as well. Becky's in her late 30s, so, you know, she's still got plenty of time. How old is Seth? 37, you know? So Seth is 37. Becky is, I think, 36, 37. So they've still got plenty of time left in their careers. You know, you compare that to Adam Copeland, Edge, who is 50. He's 50. He's 50 years old. He's 13 years older than Seth. So Seth could wrestle for another 13 years, and then he would be at Edge's age. That's the difference. So I just don't see it. Just don't see it. Okay, we was at commercial break, but we're not now. Here's Lexis King. Here's Ava. Everyone in that tournament wants a piece of you. Lexis says, I make moments happen. Is it just me? He does look so much better. I think they keep tweaking his look. The beard just doesn't look as in your face. It looks a bit more settled down. A bit more natural. Lexis King is in the Breakout tournament, replacing someone. Okay. I feel sorry for the guy that just got replaced, but, you know, it's a dog-eat-dog world. It's sink or swim. Right, Dijak against Eddy Thorpe coming up next. What are they doing with Ava? I don't know. It's a bit directionless, isn't it? She doesn't strike me as someone that should be in an authority position. Certainly not having been in with the schism. Such a weird change for her. Don't get it. Daze, I watched the GTA trailer. It was fire, says Amin. Ava really needs to sort her overbite out, says Jim. How do you fix that? Is that fixable? Overbites fixable. An overbite can lead to further issues if left untreated. 7 ways to fix it. Can cause health issues down the road. Do you know, it says here that you can stop an overbite from getting worse by not sucking your thumb, chewing your nails, or biting too hard on utensils. It's weird, isn't it? Braces. No matter how old you are, braces can help realign and fix a jaw position. You'd have to wear braces for about 2 years. 2 years would gradually move it back in line. Oh, hello. Top rope has come off. As the comment is... He wallops Eddy Thorpe in the midsection. So he just went over in the corner, smashed him in the corner, and that top turnbuckle came off. Oh, man, there's blood on the side of Dijak's head. He's using it as a weapon. I mean, I think it was probably intended. But I think there is also some damage that's been caused. He's got blood coming down like the side of his... Oh, man, the side of his head is all cut open. No, he's wiping it away like... I can't quite tell if it was meant to happen. I mean, I certainly don't think that cut to the side of the head was meant to happen. But I'm pretty sure it was meant to happen. I'm pretty sure it was meant to happen. But I don't think it went perfectly to plan. Eddy Thorpe gets smacked into the middle turnbuckle. What's going on? This is wild. Yeah, it is pretty crazy. I tell you what, we've seen the top turnbuckle break a few times. In recent times, actually. But, the blood on the side of the head is definitely something which would suggest this has not gone perfectly to plan. Definitely got caught on something. What did he smashed? It's that bit, isn't he? So he's got Eddy Thorpe up. He charges him into the corner. As he chucks him in the corner, the turnbuckle breaks. It means they both go down. And as he's going down, he must catch his head on something. Maybe it was the exposed bolt on the turnbuckle post. But he's caught his head on something. Either way, that is going to be moody, man. That is going to be moody. Something has gone against the side of his head. Fair play for him for keeping going. Fair play for him for not just calling it quits and calling it off. I'm looking at replays of it. It's mental. Mental. Okay, we've got... Andre Chase. I'll get to the super chats in a second. Let's find some new ways to make some money. Okay, so JC and Thea have headed out. Oh. Oh, hello. Scripps. Scripps has got some money. Is that money? Random. Scripps just gives some money over to Andre Chase. It was from the stairs, said Draco. Was it the stairs? I feel like Dijak is making some out of a turnbuckle spot since Dijak is legit bleeding. Right, let's go to these super chats. Coach Co said, Meat, Cleaver, Gas, and Michael Jackson doll. Don't come to me with the least pierced fish. PP on the Lily. Don't PP on that PPP key feely peeler. Not a clue. Some of them words I don't even understand. Feely peeler. Sounds like a sex offender. Mitchell, shout out to you, said earlier I had NXT on mute and The Rock showed up standing next to a tree. I freaked out thinking he was on NXT. Turns out it was a credit card advert. Unfortunate. That's just bad timing. Makes sense though, doesn't it? If you was a credit card company and you had The Rock, you'd want to advertise during wrestling as well. Although The Rock is so recognizable, you could advertise during the flipping dog show. It wouldn't really matter. But Mitchell, shout out to you. Kojiko, shout out to you. Dijak, shout out to you. Yeah, quite a heated exchange between them two. Daze, thoughts on Man United being dumped out of the Champions League? Ten Hag and United having 14 losses in all competitions. Manchester is blue, said Santino. Well, Manchester is blue because everyone's super sad at the moment. Thoughts are that this is just more of what we've been seeing. I think Ten Hag is the right man. I think that mistakes have been made. I think that he's brought in some players that, for whatever reason, have not lived up to expectation. So, I don't know if you want to deem that a reason to get rid of him. I think that Anthony has been very underwhelming. I think Anana has kind of struggled at times. I think that Mason Mount is someone that hasn't quite settled in. But I'm really hopeful for Mason Mount. I do think part of the problem is that we don't have a team that is settled, and you know, we don't have, like, the core of the team isn't right. You can't really add on other elements when the core of the team is not correct. You know, you can't lean on Rashford, for example, because I mean he's so inconsistent, and you can't really lean on, like, the defense, because they're so inconsistent. Like, there's just inconsistency straight across the board. You just need to bring in some quality players that you know what you're going to get out of them, that you can rely on, that are consistent. It's just no consistency. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if people think that the recruitment is a reason to get rid of him, then, you know, okay, so be it. But I think he's the right person. I still fully back him. I think us going out of Europe tonight is not a shock. I could have predicted that, like, last week, 2 weeks ago. So, yeah, I'm not surprised on that. I think it's going to be a tough season. I don't know that we finish in the top four. To be honest, we're there or thereabouts. I mean, we go on a little bit of a run in the new year. If we bring in some players just in January, and there is a bit of talk of it, if they can hit the ground running, then who knows, we might be able to put some wins together and we might be there or thereabouts. But I saw a thing actually that said like Arteta's first year he finished 8th and 6th. In Klopp's first year he finished 8th and 4th in his second year. And it's, you know, they were just looking at, like, where these new managers have finished in the Premier League. And it's like Ten Hag's first year, he finishes, what, 4th? Was it 4th? 3rd? This year is a struggle, but the season's not over. And we're still somehow there or thereabouts. We were like 6th. Everyone's like ringing the alarm bells. We're 6th. I know it could be worse and maybe should be worse, but it isn't. We're still, like, within touching distance. So I think, you know, we need to get January right. Let's get January. And it might be a blessing that we're out of Europe. So, whoever we bring in, I hope they're hungry. I hope they're hungry and I hope they're consistent. Right, we're back from commercial break and we have got Cora and we have got Blair Davenport. Okay. Right, Keanu Reeves. Oh my God. Keanu Reeves is making his way down to the ring. That's not Keanu Reeves. Keanu Carver. Let's get his name right. Carver. So, breakout tournament time. WrestleBuzz said, I appreciate all that you do. WrestleBuzz, shout out to you. Shout out to you. Appreciate the kind words, but Man United are down right now. Shift in the planet's alignment and they turn it on out of nowhere. Just like in any competition, it's good when it's good. It's great when it is. Yeah, I think in most sports, I mean... Oh, hello. He's a Chase U guy. Riley Osborne is a Chase Uer. Chase. Go on, Riley. I'm behind this Riley guy because he represents Chase U, but this dude's good, isn't he? Look at the size of Keanu Reeves. There's Thea and JC. They're in the crowds. They're watching on. Okay, these two locking up as Riley. There was a Riley chant that just broke out. He looks a little bit Roderick Strong-esque, doesn't he, this Riley guy? Roll over there by... Oh, kick out. Drop kick there by Riley. Standing moonsault. 1, 2, kick out. Riley goes over against the ropes. Over the top, lands on his feet, over the other side. Big clothesline. Huge from Keanu. He does look like a beast, this guy. He's got a good size to him. A little Big E-esque. Gets caught. Oh, look at that. Look at the strength. Chase U died, said Santino, with the scandal. They are struggling. Look at this. I love that. So he's got Riley facing towards the turnbuckle and he's driving his shoulder into him. 1, shoulder up. Look at that. Look at that throw. Look at the throw. Sick, man. Really good. Really good. Yeah, this is what's good about the Breakout tournament. You really do get to see some really good up-and-comers and some really exciting up-and-comers as well. Okay, Keanu in control. Anthony said New Year's Evil is the 1-year anniversary. Alvarez made us think WWE sold to the Saudis. Is it? Is it really? It's been a year. Did you hear that they're doing anime for Suicide Squads? I didn't. That is not a world that I operate in. New Year's Evil. Oh, we answered that. Daze, Riley Osborne is the guy Thea was staring at last week, says Bembo. Oh, well, she's into him. She's jumping up in the crowds. Oh, yeah, I see you, baby. Against the ropes goes Riley. Oh, big shoulder tackle by Keanu. Shucky ducky quack quack. We've got a shucky ducky quack quack moment. He's going over to Riley and kick coming in. Riley is climbing up. Keanu down. We've got a little Chase U section that's cheering him on. Whoa! Shooting Star gets the win for Riley. Ah, Thea is loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. She's loving it. Well done, Roderick Strong. It's like Roderick Strong if he was attractive. This guy has got potential. This man is dangerous, said Prince Moolah. Ring break, work or shoot? Oh, I think it's a work. I think it's a work. The bloods, I don't think it was intentional. But the turnbuckle coming off, I feel pretty good was a work. Work, 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 work. That man is dangerous. This guy has got potential. A new Chase U member. Let's put this guy in a wheelchair yelling Mr. Chase every week he gets. Andre! Here's Dragon Lee. Oh, hello. Here's this poor man's diamond mine. Damon Kemp, Drew Gulak, Charlie Dempsey, Miles Bourne. I want to ask you a question. This touching tribute to Wesley, is that an every week situation or is it just a one-off? Yeah, he wants a shot. We accept. Thank you. Which one of you wants to step up? You'll find that out next week. So it's going to be Dragon Lee against one of these boomers. Okay, here is Nikita Lyons. Nikita and Lyra versus Cora and Blair. Why did Britt Baker have brown hands? Because she needed a poo. Got you. Needed. Why did she do that? It's a silly thing to do, isn't it? You don't do that with poop. Silly Britt Baker. Remember when you forgot Gulak was still employed? Oh, I kept forgetting it. I think I did it a couple of times. I'm amazed I haven't done it again. Right, Nikita and Lyra. Lyra Lyons. Lyra Lyons taking on Cora Blair. Blair Jade. Lyra Lyons. That could be a name. Get this charisma vacuum out of there. You're out of there. Lyra Valkyria's entrance has got so much potential, says Kappa. It's good that Nikita is back, said Nicole. Outside of Damien, Chemo, they look like job... Oh, Damon Kemp. They look like job guys. They could be the job squad. Dragon Lee defending every week. That is cool. Drew Gulak on NXT just really dampens the show, says Big Time. Gulak's hair is magnificent, says Triton Cascades. I think Riley replaces Duke in Chase U, as I think he is storyline because of the Chase U scandal. Sonny said Christmas is coming up and you should definitely buy my book. 29 sold now. 8 reviews. $12 CAD. $14 used. £12, yuck. The thoughts within a collection of poems. If the tag match is right now, is Elia the main? Have we said we're going to hear from Elia, have we? I missed that. Yes, I would say yes. I really want to... normally, Dijak is very good at tweeting out the injury that he's suffered. So, I'm thinking once we finish this, I'll do an unseen for NXT. And for me personally, I'm waiting to see the extent of Dijak's injury. It might need stitches, I'm not sure. It looked like it was heavily bleeding. So, definitely keeping an eye out. Oh, we've got Carmelo, haven't we? He reckons he knows who attacked him. So he's going to come out and that'll probably be our main event. Riley Osborne. Making a name for himself. Lexis King replaces Trey Bearhill in the NXT Men's Breakout Tournament. Big time. Drew Gulak survived all those cuts by doing one thing. Don't pick up the phone and just come to work and pretend like it's a normal day. Is that how you do it? Do you reckon they've called him like 20 times and each time they're like, he's not going to pick up? And we have to tell him in person. If we don't, it's not legal. So they just move to the next name on the list. I don't want anyone to lose their job, so I'm pleased he hasn't. But I've got to think that he has been on a list a few times. I mean, he can train though, so I wonder if the training side has like saved him, you know. But in ring, we've tried him in 205 Live, we've tried him on the main roster, he's been in NXT. I mean, he's been a bit all over the road. No halftime scores. We missed that boat. Daniel said, Daze, I farted. As long as you didn't follow through, but that's fine. I don't want anyone sat there uncomfortable. Or, listen, if there's one thing, I don't want anyone watching these streams while sitting in their own feces. I have been very clear about that from the start. So, shout out to you, buds. As long as it is... Yeah, Dro said, do it again. Do it again. Oh, hello, look. Here's Riley, Thea in the background. Look at that. Oh. Thank you for being out there tonight. I appreciate you. No problem, no problem, no problems. Are you from around here? Is he? He's from the UK. He sounds like he's from Manchester. See you later. I was getting like Davy Boy vibes. How was I? There's room for improvement. He's a whole man and you're a whole child. He's a whole man and you're a whole child. Where's he from? Where is Riley? What was his name? Osborne. Is he part of the... No. Osborne's. What was his name? Riley? Did I write it down? Can't even remember his name. Riley someone. Alex Riley. That's him. No, it is. It's Riley Osborne. Osborne. I've never heard of him. He's 25. From Egremont. Never even heard of it. In Cumbria. Egremont. He's from Excrement. What's he doing coming from excrement? Egremont? Where the hell's Egremont? Egremont? Well, it's much more north than Manchester. Do you know it's in a weird part of the country? It's in a part of the country I really don't know anything about, to be honest. I'm going to show you. There's excrement next to this coast-to-coast walk, right? If you zoom out, it's just below like the border for Scotland. There's Scotland up here. And there's Egremont, look, next to like Isle of Man. It's not a million miles from like Manchester and Blackpool. It's certainly that way. But it is much more further north. So yeah, this part of the country is a weird part of the country because, as you can see, there's just not really much going on. You've got the whole Lake District. All of that is a national park. So you've got like Penrith, Carlisle, Workington. There's no like major places there. It's a very like picturesque part of the country, this. It's a lovely part of the country. Picturesque. But no major places. I mean, you've got Newcastle there. But if you come down a little bit more, then you've got Blackpool, there's Liverpool, there's Leeds, there's Manchester, there's Sheffield. They're all quite close. And then if you come down even more, we're not too far from like this sort of area around here. We're around here. Look, right by the Welsh border. We're sort of around this ballpark. Around here. Where it says this A4 one. There's Telford's, where I always go. So yeah, we're kind of around this bit. So we're there, and excrement is like, it's quite a way away. It's all the way up here. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. And honestly, that is a real part of England that I just don't know much about, is that little nubbin. Little nubbin up there. So that's interesting, isn't it? Now we know where he's from. He's from a very isolated part of England. 25. That means he was born in like 1998. Mental. He wasn't even alive when the Montreal screw job happened. Can't get your breath, can you? His nickname's a Turbo. He's a high flyer. He's been wrestling for 9 years. Well, let's go. I'm excited for him. Right, here is Blair and Cora battling away on Nikita. Giving us your location is going to pay Daze a visit and give him a sweet kiss, says Santina. Well, that's why I didn't give my exact location. I'm all right for sweet kisses, thank you. But I'll give you ballparks. Big Time said, Daze, you don't have that thick northern accent that people around the north of England have. Well, I'm not technically from the north. I'm from the Midlands. So you've got, like, they say the north-south divide. But what people forget about is there is, like, a strip in the middle where you've got Birmingham and Nottingham and Leicester and Coventry and, you know, all these kinds of places. And I'm from there. I'm from the bit in the middle. I'm like, they say there's this big north-south divide. People down south don't like the people up north. People up north don't like the people down south. No one ever talks about the people in the middle. That's probably worse, isn't it? Like, what's worse than being hated? Not even being acknowledged. Then that's my life. And Birmingham's like the second biggest city in England. Everyone talks about Manchester and Liverpool. No one really talks about Birmingham. But it is, from a population point of view, the second biggest city, just behind London. No one cares. No one's bothered. What the heck is an Isle of Man? Sounds like a massive sausage fest. Isle of Man's famous for a very famous bike race, the TT Isle of Man race, where they like race around the island. So it's famous for that, and it's also a bit of a tax haven, I think. I know I'm pretty sure. I mean, it is UK, but it's got its own kind of rules. So you get a lot of like businesses based in the Isle of Man. So it is just a little island, yeah, that people do live on, but it's where you get a lot of offices. A lot of people are based there. Do you know, my dad, his business that he works for is registered there, and his business car comes from there. So it means that apparently, and I don't know how true this is, but he tells me it's true, because the business car comes from there, it's got Isle of Man license plates. If he is caught speeding, he doesn't get a ticket because it's Isle of Man plates and not UK plates, or not like normal license plates. There is something to do with having Isle of Man license plates that means that you don't get done for speeding. I need to look into this. This is what he tells me, and I don't think he'd lie to me. Can you be caught speeding with Isle of Man license plates? It says no penalty points will be applied to a license, and they don't need to declare. There is definitely something around it. I know, because there's people that try to get those kind of plates to avoid speeding fines and everything. Can't really see much information on it. There's not much information on it, but I know that there are like lots of loopholes and things with the Isle of Man. It's one of the things it's known for. You know, if you randomly jump in and start reading, you would call mental health professionals and report it, says Trini. I mean, I have many times, yes. Isle of Man is a place where young men get kidnapped and get turned into chicken wings. Let's go. Is that Tatum Paxley? Tatum Paxley on the in the crowds. Crossbody by Lyra. Getting down to the final 15 minutes here. I don't feel like this has been a vintage episode of NXT. I think that Tyler Bate Dragon Lee match was very good, though. Kick there by Lyra to Cora Jade. Blair planting Lyra. 1, 2, and a save made by Nikita. We spoke the other day as well about how we're going to start recording scores for shows. So we are going to be continuing to do that. Haven't actually recorded yesterday's Raw, so I don't know how that turned out. But I will have a look at it tonight and record that score. I would imagine it got a very good score from people. I'm expecting a good score. I thought it was a really good show. Nikita with a kick to Blair on the outsides. Cora rolling up Lyra. That's going to give Cora a claim at a title shot. So Cora with a pin. Slight distraction being made by Tatum Paxley. So Cora Jade is making it clear she wants a shot at the title. So Nikita and Blair were battling away on the outside. Blair's going to get a title shot because she won the Iron Survivor match. But this will give Cora a shout as well. So there we go. Our main event match has resulted in the champion being pinned. Oh, is that Tatum? Tatum grabbing Nikita. What is Tatum doing? She's on her hands and knees, crawling over to Lyra. Kiss her. Kiss her. Kiss her. Kiss her on the mouth. Oh. Boo. Right, we got Hank and Tank and a forklift. Don't know how I feel about Tatum going in this direction. I'm intrigued by it, I suppose. Here's Gallus. I thought she was going to kiss her, by the way. I don't like stalkers. I'm scared to hear about what you think happens on the Isle of Wight. Oof. You don't want to know. Oh, hello, someone. Is that Gacy? What's Gacy up to? Takes a Joe to know a Joe. Cup of Joe. What are we doing with Gacy, man? What are we doing with Gacy? Do we even know? Riley Osborne and Obafemi have progressed. Lexis King and Dion Lennox are going to be in action. And Tavian Heights and Luca Crucifino are also going to be in action. Continues next week, the men's breakout tournament. Also next week, Thea Hale and JC Jane are going up against Kiana James and Izzy Dame. Still don't know who she is. Izzy Dame. So we've got a tag match next week. Also coming up, Tiffany Stratton is going to be going up against Fallon Henley. Tiffany Stratton against Fallon Henley next week. And also, Dragon Lee is going to take on a member of the No Quarter Catch Crew. What? What? The No Quarter Catch Crew. When have they been called that? The No Quarter Catch Crew. Have I missed that? Was that announced? And I just completely... No quarter. I don't even know what it means. No Quarter Catch Crew. Well, that rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? See that on a shirt. We got Jey Uso running around with Yeet. I'm not sure that No Quarter Catch Crew is quite as catchy. No Quarter Catch Crew. I'm blown away by it. I'm woke. I am shocked. I'm still waiting for Dijak to send a message out. Right, we have a village called Rasta Town. And yes, only Rastafarians live there. The irony, it's not black people. It's white Rastafarians who smoke and live a hippie style. That is random. Feels like someone should make a YouTube video on that. I could see, like, the thumbnail and everything. Welcome to Rasta Town. Days AR Dub Pro Black and Blue Wednesday happens at the American Legion Post 100 in Lake Station, Indiana. Fire Pro Wrestling Revelations happens at Impact Christian Church in Merrillville. Well, thank you for that information, my friend. Rio said WWE and their horrible tag team names, and I thought Out the Mud was bad. Out the Mud. OTM. Tatum bring in HLA back. Dorset is great, said James. That doesn't roll off the tongue. No, it doesn't, does it? Q the Light Knight says it's dollar, dollar, dollar. Mitchell said Joe Gacy is now just the Tonka guy. He is. He is a man's man. Right, how long have we got? We ain't got long, have we? I feel like they need a good final segment here. Anyone else feel like this episode has just been a flat? I don't know what's happened. I don't know if it's me. I feel like the Dijak Eddy Thorpe moment was like, oh my god, what's this? So that felt like it was summer. The Dragon Lee Tyler Bate match felt like it was summer. That tag match didn't grab me. The opening women's promo didn't grab me. I suppose Briggs Jensen, Fallon Henley metaphor was alright. It was alright. It was okay. Don't know. Do we just expect better from NXT? Is that what it is? Do we just... Don't know. Perhaps because Raw was so good that like this is just struggling to kind of maintain that. I'll be interested to see what people's full-time scores are going to be, but we've got one more segment to go. Let's not jump the gun. One more segment. WWE shows after pay-per-views are always flat, says Real. Izzy Dame is a former volleyball player, says A. Jobson. Weymouth is a great place, says Matt. We do have some good places. Santino said, what impact do you think NXT Europe will have on the wrestling landscape? Impossible to say because we don't know anything about it. We don't even know if it's going to happen. I mean, what I would say is a permanent wrestling promotion based in Europe. I think that if done right, there is a demand for it. I think there is a place for it. I think there is a place for that. I would struggle to say that how can that not work? The problem is that, you know, you need to have like TV and you need to be getting out there and you need to be building stars and all of this. And there's indie promotions that don't have that kind of TV. But if you can get onto TV and you can bring in some names and whatever, yeah, I mean, like if WWE do launch an NXT Europe and they do it right, I can't see why it wouldn't work. I can't see why it wouldn't work. Permanent promotion, bringing through the best that Europe has got. I mean, think about NXT UK. It had Gunther. It had Ilya Dragunov. It had Pete Dunne. It had Tyler Bates. It had Mako Satomura. We had Tony Storm for a while. We had Rhea Ripley. For a while, Rhea Ripley, I believe, was the first NXT UK Women's Champion. Now, granted, she's from Australia. So, you know, maybe it was fortunate that she went to NXT UK. But it's undeniable that there's talent in Europe. You know, Andre the Giant came from France. So Bruno Sammartino came from Italy. So, yeah, I can't see why you can't be tapping into Europe and having a good, strong presence here. But we don't know what it looks like, and we don't even know if we're still going to get it. But I would support it if and when it arrives. I would watch it, and we would stream it. I would support it. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Here we go. Oh yeah, Booker's doing his. Oh yeah, I like it. Trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Uh-huh. I like it. We got dudes in the crowd dressed as Power Rangers. Let's go. Whoop that. This has really got over, innit? Whoop that trick. Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for that. Let's get straight to business. Deadline. Serve it. him winning the title in 2024 needs to happen. Usually I'd come out and I'd cut up my opponents. Not tonight. We put on a banger last Saturday. So apparently there's going to be an award show at the end of the year that NXT are going to hold. They have done that before. And he said, I'll put that match up against any match from this year. That's interesting, isn't it? What is the NXT match of the year? Trick Williams has been balling his whole life, says Trick Williams. I'm Trick James. B words. In 3 weeks, we've got New Year's Evil. The baddest man in NXT against the hottest superstar under the sun. Here comes Ilya Dragunov. Ilya making his way out. Ilya versus Trick Williams. I don't know that... is Trick going to win it, do you reckon? First time I've asked him. He's going to have to get past Ilya Dragunov. That's easier said than done, isn't it? That's easier said than done. I feel you, mate. I feel you. Guy in the crowd composing away. I'm proud of you, Trick, says Ilya. I couldn't watch it live because I was getting into the zone. You snatched that victory from the jaws of defeat. We've still got to hear from Carmelo, haven't we? He's going to come out and drop this bombshell. Is he going to come out and name Trick? Who can he name that's going to be, like, shocking? Who can he name that's going to be like a bombshell? What that Trick? What that Trick? Okay, some respect being shown between Ilya and Trick. At New Year's Evil, it comes to an end. I say this with all respect. At New Year's Evil, it comes to an end. If you said that to me a few months ago, I might have wondered if I had what it takes. But this ain't a few months ago. I'm Trick Williams. I'm the man here in NXT. I love this confidence, man. I love that from him. You know, a few months ago, I might have doubted it. Not now. I'm the man here in NXT. I like you, says Ilya. But I have suffered too much. I will do whatever it takes. I will do whatever it takes. I tell you what, it's a great match. It's a dream match, isn't it? Yeah, Elia against Trick. It's gonna go off, man. It's gonna go off. Here is Carmelo hobbling his way down. Do you remember when Carmelo was him? Is he still him? Mello is getting in. Trick's like, well, now's not the time, Mello. Remember that business? This is that. 2 months. They've dragged my name through the dirt. And that ends tonight. Come on, man. Give me something big. Come on. I know who attacked you. It's the same person that attacked me. Oh, God, we're cooking. Here we go. I will leave you, gentlemen. Elia's going to back away. No, Elia. Don't go. Is he going to blame Elia? He said to Elia, don't go. He wants Elia to stay. It was you. He says it was Elia. It was you. He's blamed Elia. It was you. It makes sense, says Kai. It does make sense to me. What are you talking about? Yeah, what's your proof? He's just got, who gains more from separate? Yeah, the crowd aren't buying it. I ain't buying it. I ain't buying it. I think the crowd, what are the crowd chanting? Mello's guilty. I think the crowd are chanting Mello's guilty. I knew he was arrogant, but delusional too, says Elia. This is going to be a hard sell for Carmelo. I ain't buying it. I'm not sure Trick's buying it. The crowd ain't buying it. You knew the whole world would point the finger at me. I don't know what boogeyman you're creating in your head. If you did get attacked, Elia's even asking if Carmelo did get attacked at all. Tell me you didn't just say that. Look me in the eyes. I did not attack you. You need to talk to your friend. So Carmelo's blaming Elia. Elia's saying, listen, did you even get attacked? Trick doesn't know what to blame. Trick's like, don't tell what? What's going on? It's just like, is in a state of complete confusion. Carmelo tries to grab the belt. He accidentally hits Trick with it. I don't think he did get attacked, says Callum. Nello's guilty. Melo's guilty. The crowd ain't buying it. The crowd ain't bought it at all. Melo's guilty. Melo's guilty. This would be so good if they manage to pull off a swerve where Melo isn't guilty. I don't think blaming it on Ilya is the right way forwards. Ilya doesn't strike me as someone that is trying to cut corners. He's doing it the hard way. You know, he digs so deep. He battles so hard in his matches. Him going around sneak attacking people, it just does not fit his character. And the people aren't buying that either. So it all definitely feels like it's Carmelo, and everything's pointing to Carmelo. But I would love it if there was a swerve. They've got the opportunity now. I mean, they've got the crowd right, maybe not where they want them, but they've got them right in a certain place where they could now just go and swerve you. It's up to them what they want to do. It might be that Carmelo was the person behind the attack, but they can always change it because that hasn't been revealed. And they've got the crowd chanting Carmelo's guilty, Melo's guilty. So they could swerve us. They've got the opportunity to do it, but yeah, I don't think it's Ilya, and I don't think that's the person they should pin it on. But yeah, interesting. It was Quincy Elliott said, wrestle with Andy. If Ilya did attack Melo, then Melo would not be standing at all, said James. That's a good point. In fact, Ilya should have made that point. If I had have attacked you, if it really was me, do you think you'd be in this ring right now? That's a really good point. Kieran said it was a brilliant stream, and I hope you have a great day. Kieran, thank you, my friend. I really appreciate the kind words. This would be a great way for a new person to debut. Yeah, I think... It's funny because I think a lot of people want it to be Melo, because I think a lot of people want the Melo trick match and they want some bad blood and they want that kind of fallout. So Melo feels like it would be the most satisfying person. I think, though, that what you could do is bring in someone new who was responsible for attacking Trick. Everyone's like, so it wasn't Melo? Right, and so, like, yeah, look, everyone blamed me, and it wasn't me. And then you do Trick versus this person, and then Melo turns on Trick at that point. Because I think Melo turning on Trick is definitely something we should do. But do you do it now? I mean, if it turns out that it was Melo, now it's going to be a bit flat, I think. Because everyone thinks it's him. Got the crowd chanting it. So, yeah, if I was Sean, I'd definitely be thinking, like, oh, is there a different way I need to go here? Is there something, do I need to pull a swerve? You don't want to do a swerve just for the sake of a swerve. But this is a pretty, you know, interesting storyline. You know, we know that mysteries always play well in WWE. Wrestling in general, to be honest. Obviously, we've got the whole devil thing at the moment in AEW. So, yeah, this is one where I think they've got to make sure they're going in the right direction. Ilya, I hope it's not Ilya. That wouldn't strike me as the right direction. Oh, no. What did you score WWE NXT? I'm going to put this over on that other channel, as we said. That's where we keep the scores now, and that's where we're keeping them in the foreseeable future. Because I do like it being a little bit cleaner on this channel. And it's just good to have them all in one place. And as I said, I'm going to start recording them as well into like a list. I can tell you that Raw was 83% great. 83% great. So where does that go on our ranking list? Let's have a look. Show scores. 83% great. So here's our show scores so far. So 83% great puts it here. Wow. Raw 12. 12. No, was it 12-11? Yeah, 12-11. Great, 83%. That puts it just 3% above NXT No Mercy. And it puts it as the second best show we've watched since we've started recording, but we haven't been recording that long. But at the moment, NXT No Mercy is not Deadline. Deadline was 95% good. But Raw was 83% great. SmackDown, Friday just gone, was 49% all time. 49% all time. I mean, that is seriously impressive. That is nearly half of the people that voted went for number 5 on the thing. So, a really good score for Raw. It goes in at number 2, our second highest rated show that we've since we've been recording. I think we could do that. Maybe what we do is we put the score for the last show into that list on the next stream, if that makes sense. So tomorrow for AEW, when we're watching that, we'll put the NXT score today onto that list, and we can just keep a running track of it. And as I said, if you want to vote and get your voice heard, it's in the community tab of the Wrestling Daze Clips channel, the second channel. Just keeps it tidy, keeps it out the way. It means that we can focus on the lols and putting out those funny tweets, and we'll use this channel for that, and we'll do the admin stuff over there. But I think that's pretty fun. We can add it to the score. I did say that I would just explain how we scored it as well, because it is a little more complicated than you would imagine. But so that's how the list looks. Just I'll take a brief moment to explain how it gets scored. So here you can see the Raw score, right? So the one that won, the one that got the most votes was number 4. So great, got the most votes. So that's the one that wins. But then we need to find a way of like separating it a little bit more, because obviously a lot are probably going to be great, or a lot are going to be good, or a lot are going to be all time. So we need to find a way of separating it further. So what I do is I look at great and I say, right, 56% voted for great. So I'm going to take that and anything that is above it as well. So great 56, and then I add the 27 for all time. All time didn't win, but those people clearly enjoyed the show because they went higher. So if great wins, then I'm taking the 56. But clearly these 27 thought it was great as well. They actually thought it was even better than great. They thought it was an all-time episode. So I'll take the great, I'll take the all-time, I'll add those two together, and that gives me a percentage. And that percentage works out at 83. 56, 27, 83. So that's how I end up with great 83. And that's how I do it. So if we keep that system for all the shows, then not only are we going to have the winning, like, good, great... I suppose in a way it's the difference between having like 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star and having 3.25, 3.5. You know what I mean? Like, it's a way of just separating it down a little bit further. I think that's good. I mean, that's the kind of thing that I enjoy about scoring, is like seeing what the score is, quite detailed, comparing it to other shows. You know, if we'd been doing that all year, we could now look at what the best shows of 2023 were. And it might end up being a random Raw or a random SmackDown. Might not have been a premium live event. And it might be like, can you believe it? That show in April was the best scoring show. Well, we can do that for next year. We've got it set up now so that we can do that. We can stick to this for the whole of 2024. And then that means in 12 months' time, we will be able to exactly do that. So good. So I think we're in a really good place with it. I like this scoring system. I think it's better than us just sharing our scores and then not doing anything with it. At least here we can record them. So good. But yeah, feel free to put your scores in the chat as well. You can put them in out of 10 here, make it a bit simpler. And I don't know, this show was a weird show, I think. Didn't quite blow my mind. It was all right. I wasn't bored. It was fine, but I don't think it's reached the dizzy heights of the Raws or the SmackDowns we've seen. Backbreaker Wrestling Mega Clash is taking place at St. Mary's, says Carmen. And Carmen also gives it an 8. A. Jobson said, no Roxanne tonight. Maybe she stays home until the Rumble. Maybe. That's a bit of a way off. I mean, that's like a month and a half, isn't it? So, I don't know. We've got New Year's Evil. I mean, maybe there's a chance she'll be back and she'll be on that card. Alexis Gamer is giving it a 7. We also had Big Time with a 6. It was pretty weak, but not bad. We got a few 8s. A. Jobson said it was very good NXT for me. Good wrestling all round, and I wish Dijak Thorpe was a real match. K-Dub with a 7.5. Dante with an 8.5. Ian with an 8. Dro with a 7. Kashawn said, what do you rate the show tonight? I'm in the 6s. I thought it was fine. I think there was some weak promos. I think there's some matches that are just so-so. It was nice to see some new, fresh faces. I thought that Tyler Bate Dragunov was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, look, there's definitely things here that mean this is not a bad show. But, I mean, come on, we've seen stronger than this. We've seen stronger than this. We've seen some shows where we're really cooking and there's, you know, just really great things going on. So yeah, I'm probably about that kind of 6.25. You know, maybe if someone bought me a drink, they could get me to a 6.5. I don't know. You know, I'll say whatever anyone wants if they buy me a drink. I'm pretty easygoing in that way. So yeah, I'm probably about 6.25, knocking on the door of a 6.5. Alex Bliss Gamer said 7. A. Jobson says 8. Dominic says 7. Shaquem with a 7. Richard said 9.6. GC said a 6 would be a good score for tonight. Jobson said, I think Edge's desire to work more, along with working with Christian, made him likely to leave. Becky and Seth will have no reason unless Hollywood is calling. Yeah, I don't disagree. Hollywood might do it, but I don't think AEW would be an appeal. I don't think AEW are going to offer them more money, and I don't think they're going to offer them a bigger platform. So, you know, it's hard to come up with a reason as to why they would go there, to be honest. It's hard to think as to why they would want to go, other than if they were just so upset with the CM Punk thing, but I think I think they don't like that he's there, certainly Seth, but I can't see it being to the point where he's ready to walk out. Can't see that. Right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna keep my eye out for Dijak. I really want to see if he puts out a tweet showing the injury that he sustained, because that was quite a bit of blood, man. It was quite a bit of blood. But yeah, appreciate people joining us. Hope you got something from the show, and it seems like many people did. I'll have a look. If Dijak does send a message out, I'll put it up as an unseen video. Like, here's something you didn't see during the show. And if not, we're back again tomorrow for AEW. So appreciate the support. Have a good evening wherever you are. And don't forget, LOL number 6. Usi. That drops tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And do you remember Dijak's finger? Yeah, man, that was all. He has had to send those kind of messages out on, sadly, quite a regular basis. This is why I'm thinking once he's been checked over and treated, and maybe he needs stitches, it's why I think there will be an image that goes out. So I'll keep my eyes peeled. But thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you got something from it, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.